PodAskew Podcast is a proud member of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network.
To the PodAskew Podcast. I am CJ, and with me, as always, is my hetero life mate Rico. What's up, man?
What's up, guys?
Dude, it's still 2020. That's what's up.
Don't remind me.
Oh man, it's been a clusterfuck of a year, but it is summertime, and we just as unpopular as apparently it is, we just celebrated the 4th of July here in America for those paying attention.
Some did.
Some did, yeah. As they shouldn't have, and I'm curious to see the coronavirus spike after this one. But we'll see what happens.
We almost had a fire outside our house. I think we actually, outside our backyard, we saw tons of fireworks because we have just big open space. So, we're sort of suburban, but sort of half a block away is a school.
Okay.
And they were just letting off fireworks in it's like a baseball, softball field.
Yeah.
Literally we, when school was in session and shit, every Saturday we would hear crack, balls and shit flying around and cheers and everything.
If you got balls flying around your face, man, that's your own problem. I don't want to hear about it. So.
If I have balls flying around my face, I know it's you.
What?
So last night, not only were we hearing all the fireworks and seeing all the fireworks, we're looking and we actually all of a sudden just see this rising glow down next to the school building, with literally 100 yards or less from us. And we just see it and then just a big billows of smoke. And we're like, Steph was like, I think there's a fire. I think that's an actual, someone fucked up or they fucked up on purpose and there's a fire going. And I'm like, I think it's one of those fireworks that it doesn't go up in the air.
It
just smolders and sprays. But it was getting to the point where I'm seeing there was a crowd of people just kind of going towards it. So that's why I was like, I think they're just watching it, because if it was a fire, they'd be fucking
running,
call 911 trying to put it out.
Yeah.
Or they were like, fuck this school, and just setting it on fire. And then, sure enough, as we were like, let's go inside, it's getting smoky and fucking bullshit. And then we saw fire trucks pull up, and that was the last I saw. But, I mean, I don't think it burned down, but someone was concerned enough to call the fucking fire department.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But as it being the summer, we decided to bring another guest on, the ever-revolving third chair of PodAskew lately. Jesus Christ, we've had this string of guests. Good show friend Logo Mike is back. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, guys? Good to be back. How's your 2020 going?
Oh, fantastic.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
We're at the halfway mark now, guys, so...
Well,
only time will tell if this 2020 is going to get better or worse. So
I'm going with worse, but that's just my opinion.
I'm going to try and stay positive, man. I have to. That's all I can do is just try and stay positive at this point, and just hope for the best. I mean,
the fact that
how much worse could it get, really?
Well, yeah, don't say that.
Knock on wood.
First Lady Kim Kardashian.
Yeah,
there you go.
Because
right.
Kanye did announce his candidacy today, so.
Is going under the stupid party?
Yeah. But no, the fact that you and I are not sitting across from each other sharing a beer today is problem enough for me. So, I'm used to you sitting right there and you're on my screen instead so that we can social distance. But Jesus Christ.
No, I'm coming to you live from from me and my wife's bedroom. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if we see Mike's eyes roll back in his head, we know what's going on. But that's beside the point.
Yeah. It's just Meg. She's not here. She's in the other room doing.
She's in the other room. Okay.
God knows whatever. But hey, Rico, before I forget, happy belated birthday to you, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
29, right?
Yep, 29.
29. Enjoy it while you can, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Shit. He's taken some shit over the last couple episodes about how young he is. So. Oh no, just people fucking with him about like one person actually thought he was older than all of us. Like thought he was the oldest one of us all, and then they heard his age. They're like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yeah, it went from like, "Hey, happy birthday! How old are you?" 29. Fuck you, piece of shit.
It kind of did, yeah.
Yelling at me because I was born the year I was born. Like, yell at my parents. They fucked when they did. Like, it's not my fault. Like, someone yell at Ron and Nancy.
Rico, I trade ages with you in a second if I could, buddy.
Yeah, you and me both, brother. You and me both.
No, you guys are good. No.
The irony is he's the one that looks our age, Mike. Like we want his age and he looks ours, so I don't quite get that, but shit.
Yeah, it's always been that case. I've always one time I was with my brother was teaching as a tutor at my high school as a tutor. And he was gonna hang out there. I was gonna meet up with him. We were gonna go back and get some lunch. He was gonna drop me off. I was like 15, 16 years old, so I was still in high school. So my brothers are 10 years older than me, so he's 25, 26. And I go and hang out with him, and he's just finishing tutoring up a couple students who are my age, if not a little older. And they're talking to me, and they're like, "Oh, so who are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm Alex's little brother." I'm like, "Oh, so you're Joel?" And I'm like, "No." Like, and I was like, because my brothers are twins, so they're the same age. And they're like, "Oh, so are you the old, like, wait, you're the younger brother? How old are you?" And I'm like, "I'm 15. They're like, "I thought you were like the same age as Alex and Joel. Like, I thought there were triplets. I thought there was a lost triplet I didn't know about." Or you were just a year or two like older or younger. And I'm like, "Nope." And literally they thought we were just three brothers, just like same age. It was the funniest thing. And they were like, "I can't believe you're only 15.
Did you have facial hair when you were 15?
Oh, dude, I had facial hair when I was 11.
Really?
Yeah, I was
buying cigarettes when you're at 12 and buying booze 12 and a half.
My friend and I, we couldn't like drive, but like I was always able to get it. Not always. There were some places that were like, no. But I can get us booze and cigarettes at like 12, 13 years old. I really only started smoking at like 14 officially, but like he was a smoker, so I would get him cigarettes and like have a drag or something. But yeah, at a young age, I hit puberty at 10, so I looked like a fucking Muppet at like 11. Just
a lot of hands up your asses kind of thing. That kind in the sense of a Muppet.
If the Muppet fits,
Before I forget, guys, congratulations on the 100th episode.
Oh, too. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
I listened to it, and it was a really great one. Like, I think you win the award for the amount of times you say the word cunt in an episode.
That's all Jay.
Congratulations to you on that. Definitely.
All that praise goes to Jay. She's the one that whipped it out as much as she did.
No, it was great to finally like hear her on the podcast, and it was just dropping cunts left and right. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Yeah, she was really a lot of fun, and it was a lot of fun springing it on Rico because he had no idea. Like he wasn't faking surprise there. He had zero idea that I had that put together. So
you actually told me I think a day or two before.
I think I did. Yeah.
That was a surprise. That was a very welcome, happy surprise. But you're right. I had never heard cunt so much. Like we call her the koala spondent. I think she's just the cunt spondent at this point.
No, she's the cunty koala spondent. Remember, that's
all right. But
that's what we determined.
And like, I still have my reservations about that word on a hole or in the hole. But like,
pun intended.
Pun intended. But it was music to my ears as she was just like, "I'm a fucking cunt. What are you gonna do? Fucking cunt?" Like, Jesus.
It's a good time. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really whole new appreciation for Oz. Like, you're out of the woods, you're out of that cunt.
Yeah, if you really want to get under someone's skin with such like a obscene profanity, cunt is definitely the way to go.
But see, that's the thing that's here. I feel like because you know who else uses a lot is Henry. I've heard him use it quite a bit, and like I feel like when you're in England or in Oz or one of those countries that it doesn't have the same like punch that it has here.
I think the Scots is that middle ground too, because when they say "I am very good," oh shit,
yeah.
Oh. Not as melodic when you guys fucking say
it. For real.
You mean that shit.
Yeah, they do. But it is the summertime, and so we thought, with the 4th of July just passing and being, as Mike said, about halfway through the year and midsummer at this point, let's talk about our favorite summer movies that we can come up with. So we're just going to sit back and kind of shoot the shit about different summer movies, and if we've seen them, if we like them, and if we have to, we describe them to each other, I guess. So that's...
Well, let's clarify. It's not movies that are released in summer. It's movies that are set in summer.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not summer blockbuster movies or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Because
summer themed. Yeah.
Transformers.
I'll actually start off with... I'll start off with one as an example that I think is a great summer movie, and that's The Sandlot. The Sandlot is a great example of a summer movie, so it starts 100%. Right around the end of school, if not the beginning of the summer, and runs all the way through, I think basically till they go back to school, or at least midway through August or so.
We never see them go to school, but it's just that 3-month period.
Yeah, it's just implied that they go back to school. You don't actually see it. Yeah.
They all go their separate ways and shit.
Yeah, it's a narrated movie telling about, one specific summer and how it flashes forward to, how they're all adults now and what they're doing at that point in time.
Yeah.
I just rewatched it.
Oh, yeah?
It's so good. Yeah. Yeah. And I love the fact that it's
on... Did you ever see The Sandlot 2? There's a sequel to it, too.
There's like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think there's yeah.
Sure, why not?
And I actually heard that Disney Plus is going to do a revitalized sequel show with the original cast members coming back.
A show, yes, which that'd be, and then like you said, it's more like it's a sequel, but it's not like it's going to be I think it's going to be okay.
Well, they're doing like a 10-episode type of series.
I don't know.
Type deal? Yeah.
They didn't say how many, but it is going to be Mandalorian-esque in that it comes out weekly on Disney Plus. Yeah, so right. I don't know much beyond that. I've just tried to look it up. There's nothing on, at least on IMDb, about it. But there's
I know there are certain actors that are struggling, won't probably come back.
Yeah. I agree with that too. I think there's only 3 of them, Rico. It looks like there's the Sandlot, Sandlot 2, and Sandlot Heading Home.
I said there were 3.
No, but 3 in total, not 3. You said there were 3 sequels, I thought.
Oh, I meant there are 3 movies. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, then you're right. Yes, okay. I thought you meant 3 sequels to the initial.
No.
So, I can't. It's almost 12 years between the first 2, though. Or no, I'm sorry.
12 years? Really?
Yeah, between the first and the second. The first one was 93, the second one's 2005, and then the third one was in 2007. So a lot closer together. But
yeah.
As good as that movie is, I can't even remember the last time I seen it. It's had to have been years ago, maybe even a decade ago, I would think.
Well, you have Disney Plus; it's there. So if you're in the mood, so you go check it out.
I haven't been on Disney Plus in forever. I used it, just to watch The Mandalorian. Really,
dude, there's so much good stuff on there. I'm constantly on there. As Rico yells at me, I'm constantly watching I think I've literally lost track of how many times I've seen Infinity War and Endgame at this point. Just 'cause I'll put it on Disney Plus and then leave it. So
I just rewatched Infinity War last week for the 3rd time.
Did you listen to our commentary while you did it?
No, I did not.
You heard we did that, right?
I had to do it in 2 sittings, Infinity War, when I watched it, so I didn't watch it from beginning to end in one day. So.
Gotcha.
But we did a whole commentary of Infinity War and Endgame back to back.
All once.
Yeah.
It's like a 6-hour commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, I do have time on my hands now, so I guess I could go, back and rewatch it and listen to
Believe it or not, Mark just got access to Disney Plus, and he's planning. He's never seen them yet. He's never seen either of them yet. So he's going to watch them, and then when he's done, he's actually going to go back and listen to our commentary tracks. He didn't, for whatever reason, it seems like he didn't know we did commentary tracks, Rico. So I told him all the different movies that we've done them on. He's like, "Oh shit, that sounds kind of fun. I think I might watch a couple of those." So he's probably going to go back and watch a few of our commentary tracks, which will be fun.
I may watch the Hamilton Broadway on Disney Plus. I know they just put that on. Now, I'm not really like a Broadway type of guy, but everybody's just been hyping up Hamilton for the past, like, how long has it been? 6 years, maybe?
Something
it's been
like
around?
that. Yeah.
So
I'll tell you.
Maybe I'll just bite the bullet and just watch it and see how good it is. But I'm probably not going to like it. But it's whatever.
I started it and I'm 20 minutes in and I loved it. I just had to stop because life got in the way. But yeah, I'm planning on watching the rest of it. But the 20 minutes I've seen so far, I've really enjoyed. The only thing I'm struggling with, and this is by no fault of anybody's, but the main guy, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who wrote it and stars in it. First time I saw him, he was on an episode of House. When House was in a mental institution after he drove his car through Cuddy's front window, like literally drew it through the front of the house, and Lin-Manuel Miranda was one of the patients who just sat there rapping all the time. Like that's what he did. That was his thing. So I remember him from way back watching that before Hamilton was even a thing. So it's I'm having a little trouble disconnecting him from that character. But yeah,
as far as like Broadway musicals go, I mean, like, and I like the classics, like West Side Story. I fucking love West Side Story. I could watch that back and forth, listen to the album back and forth, 100 times, over. But that and maybe like Phantom of the Opera was really cool. I remember seeing that on Broadway in Philly, not New York Broadway.
Off Broadway, yeah,
off Broadway. When I was, I might have been like 10 because I think it came out in like 90, 90.
That sounds right.
Phantom of the Opera? Yeah. So my mom took me and my brother to go see Phantom of the Opera, and it was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life. But after that, I just never really, got back into like, Broadway-esque type of, films and or, shows. So, but I'm kind of interested in seeing Hamilton. And maybe like, what's the other one? The Trey Stone.
Oh, Book of Mormon.
Book of Mormon.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone,
yeah.
Book of Mormon.
That's not going to be on Disney Plus anytime soon, so I'll have to find it somewhere else.
Definitely
not. So just real quick, two things. Phantom of the Opera first performance was in October of '86, so it was probably like 1991 by the time it did the rounds outside of Broadway, because it usually sits on Broadway for years. You know that. Right. And two, Mike, you and I could have been at the same performance for all I know, because I saw the same thing at the, I think the Miriam. I think it was.
Yeah.
It was one of those. I might have the wrong with theater, but it was one of those ones down in Center City. And I still have, I don't know why of all the things I could have got at the gift shop, I picked out a matchbook, but it's like a plastic box with like those stick matches in it. Mm-hmm. And that's what I got as like my souvenir of Phantom of the Opera, but I still have that thing and it still has matches in it. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, but
that's pretty cool.
Dude, so we could have been at the same, we at least saw the same, I guarantee we saw the same cast. Do you know what I mean? Like it might not have been the same performance, but certainly
it had to be. I think we did like a matinee. It was like like a 5 o'clock show.
Dude, we very easily could have been at the same show and didn't even know it. But yes, let's get back to the summer movies. So Sandlot being the example, and Mike, you being our guest here, why don't you hit us with one of your favorites if you have one?
How about National Lampoon's Vacation?
Now, see, I haven't seen it, but I've heard the argument that it's not technically a summer movie. Now, I don't know enough about it to hold that argument, but I've heard people say that because it doesn't specifically state that it's summer. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so maybe I'm
the kids are out of school.
True.
The kids are out of school and they're leaving from Chicago, and it's not fucking like 0 degrees when they leave. It's summer weather. It looks like.
Yeah. I heard someone call it National Lampoon's Summer Vacation, so maybe that was the argument, because that's not the name of the movie. It's just National Lampoon's Vacation, if I understand it, right?
I mean, you could just call it Vacation.
Well, no, that's the remake. The remake is called Vacation, isn't it? Just Vacation without the National Lampoon.
There's it's the same thing. It's the same title. I don't think there's any. Well, maybe you're right. I think the original is called National Lampoon's Vacation, and then there's just the remake is just called Vacation. I think you might be right, actually.
Yeah, I
mean, people just put National Lampoon's in front of it like they would with Animal House, like National Lampoon's Animal House, National Lampoon's Vacation. Like any movie that was in the National Lampoon's production, they would just put that in front of the actual movie title. But technically, I guess it's called Vacation and Animal House and whatever.
Yeah,
but So the remake or the reboot, I guess it's not really a reboot because it's still in the same universe.
Chevy Chase comes back.
Right. It's Russ as an older man, right?
Right.
And it's his family. So,
but it's just called It's just called Vacation, and not arguing with you guys, but because there's National Lampoon's Vacation. That's in '83. That's the OG. '85, you have National Lampoon's European Vacation. In '97, you have Vegas Vacation. I'm sorry, '89, you have Christmas Vacation. Then '97, you have Vegas Vacation. And in 2015, you have just Vacation, which is the one you guys were talking about where Russ is now the dad or whatever.
Right. He's grown up.
Is National Lampoon still a production company as of today?
That's a good question. Let's find out.
Because maybe that's why they couldn't call it National Lampoon.
I believe so, because they did all those Van Wilder movies. So I don't know.
Yeah, but that was like mid 2000s, and maybe that was before the remake of Vacation.
True.
Because like Rise of Taj, I think was like 2009 or something.
It might have been. I'm looking up the history of National Lampoon. Yeah.
I mean, they also have been kind of, especially now, with the exception of like Van Wilder, they haven't really made any fucking good movies. Like a lot of their stuff's been direct to DVD. Like they made a Christmas Vacation 2, all about Cousin Eddie, and it's just most of those are just garbage. I mean, Van Wilder is probably the last good National Lampoon movie that has come out.
I love Van Wilder.
I do too. I really do. Yeah.
It ruined Boston cream pies for me, but I still love that.
Eclairs, technically.
Eclairs, yeah, right. Oh god, that fucking scene, man.
The last National Lampoon magazine was issued in November of 1988. So the year we graduated, Mike. I can't find out about the film company if it's still operating or not. I'm not finding.
Weren't they connected to Paramount? Isn't that who distributed them? Was Paramount?
Probably.
I don't know.
I want to say Paramount did like. I don't remember. I don't remember. So I mean, that's.
Stay on the National Lampoon's theme for a second. I can give you guys a movie recommendation that's on Netflix right now.
Please.
It's called A Stupid and Futile Gesture.
I've seen it. I watched it. Yeah.
How great was that movie, man?
It was really good, and I'm not a big Will Forte fan, but he did a really good job in that movie. I really actually enjoyed that quite a bit.
And I didn't know like the backstory and everything like that, so I'm not going to spoil it or anything like that. But I had no idea. Like about the story of his up and coming and everything like that, but upon that, on top of that, I should say, it's just a great, funny movie that everybody should check out. I mean, I think it's like an underdog. It's one of those underrated movies that no one really knows about, but you should really check it out. Oh man, Rico, you would like it. I think you would love it. It's about the guy who created National Lampoon's magazine and how they came up to be like the powerhouse that they were back in like the 80s and the 90s. And they talk about like how they started filming with like Animal House and stuff like that. So it's really cool. It's definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely is, Rico. And it's very...
I like Will Forte too, so that'll help.
Yeah. It's like a Bohemian Rhapsody of National Lampoon. So it's not... It's the biopic. That's the word I was looking for. It's a biopic about the company and specifically, and I can't remember Will Forte's the guy's name, but it's more about him than the other because it's a partnership. So it's like a Steve Jobs movie, but where they talk about Wozniak, but it's more about Jobs. It's the same kind of thing.
Right.
And they got like actors playing like Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, like big people like that. So it's just cool to see.
Yeah, like
I'll definitely check it out.
Young Ramis. It's on Netflix. It's shit. I'm blanking now. Say the name again. A Futile and Stupid Gesture.
Yeah,
is the name of the movie. So
stupid and futile and stupid, whatever it is. And another Domhnall Gleeson's in it.
Yes.
Phenomenal actor.
Yeah.
Love that guy. So I didn't even know it was him. Yep.
General Hugs.
Yeah, it's Will Forte, Domhnall Gleeson, Martin Mull, Joel McHale. Let's see, Seth Green. There's a bunch of people in this thing.
Great.
Domhnall,
really good.
yeah, There's a lot of people. I'm trying
Rico,
to
check it out, and all the listeners, check it out. You won't be disappointed. Guarantee it. If you hate it, email me and tell me how much you hated it.
Yeah. LogoMike80@gmail.com.
Yeah.
So, but no, so that's a good one there. We said Sandlot. Let's see. Another one of my favorites, an old 80s movie that Rico, you may not even be familiar with. Mike, I'm not even sure if you would have seen it because it's definitely like a B-list movie. It's called Summer School.
Oh, come on. That's on my list.
Oh, is it? There you go. Good man. Good man.
I remember hearing the title of Summer School.
I think I've brought it up a few times. It's Mark Harmon long before NCIS. Like this is and he's actually a gym teacher that gets roped into teaching English class to the summer school students, and these kids are like the bottom of the fucking barrel of the school, but like. It's just hijinks throughout the entire thing, and it really ended up being a real fun. It's one of those movies. You know what? I might have brought it up, Rico. Remember when we did comfort films?
Mm-hmm.
I might have brought it up then because it's one of those movies that if it's on, I'll watch it. Like I don't care when it's on, what day, like if or what part it's on, I'll leave it on and probably watch it till the end. So
yeah, it's a great movie. Actually, when CJ, when you told me about what the topic we were going to be talking about today. I talked to my wife about it. I'm like, yeah, we're going to be talking about summer movies and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, Summer School. And I'm like, yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
We actually watched it last night.
Oh, did you really? Nice. Yeah. It's
she's
just
like, let's watch Summer School tonight. And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that.
The funny thing for me though, and I don't want to ruin too much of the movie for people who might want to go see it, but like there's some scenes in there that you could not get away with today. Like it just.
No, definitely not.
like honestly, all right, so Rico, what he ultimately ends up doing to teach these kids is like bargaining with them. So like they'll learn if he does like a favor for each of them independently, right?
Okay.
And the one girl is like, I'll just tell you when I'm ready. And like 2 months in, or like I guess how long does you think that period is, Mike, from the beginning to the end of that? Do you think it's the whole summer, or do you think it's like 6 weeks?
No, it's 6 weeks.
It's 6 weeks. Okay, yeah. So by about week 4, she's like, I need a place to stay. And she moves in with her teacher for like 8 days.
Yeah, and she's 16.
And she's 16 and just living with her teacher. And nobody's like, well, until Kirstie Alley finds out, that's when she's like, what?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it definitely crosses a lot of boundaries of student-teacher relationships. You got one student who's a stripper, who's a male stripper.
Yeah.
Who's not 18. The other girl wants to stay with his house or whatever.
You got a pregnant girl without the father around. He's just fucked off somewhere.
I feel like I've seen this. Like this is all coming like kind of.
And then you got two guys. Well, the thing that'll probably stand out, especially for you, Rico, are oh god, Chainsaw and what's the other guy's name?
Dave.
Dave and Chainsaw.
Chainsaw and Dave.
And they're these horror movie fanatics, and they're constantly doing stuff with like fake blood and monster makeup and stuff like that. And when Mark Harmon's character gets temporarily fired, they like creep out every substitute that comes in by like doing weird fucking shit with this makeup.
I feel like I saw this when I was a kid. Like I think my brothers were watching this, and I was just kind of like half aware of it.
Well, it came out. I want to say it came out in '88. So
I
mean,
it would have been on TV.
87. Yeah.
Is it 87? Thank you, Mike.
Yeah. I remember me and like my friend went to the movie theater with my brother and his friend, and we were like, "What do you want to go see? Summer School or Nerds 2? Revenge of the Nerds 2?"
Ugh.
So me and my buddy went and saw Revenge of the Nerds 2, and my brother and his buddy went and saw Summer School. Made a horrible choice.
Yes, you did.
Should have went and saw Summer School. As much as I do like Revenge of the Nerds 2, it's not that bad. But Summer School's a way better movie than Revenge of the Nerds 2.
Not to deviate from the summer thing, but I remember I saw Revenge of the Nerds, the first one, for the first time I think like 2 years ago, and I was like, "What the fuck? This is such a really." Like, I get it, like, Nerds Unite and Nerds Uprise and all that shit, but, like, there's that one scene that I still, like, it may be the 2020 goggles, but, like, I don't understand how this was okay. Where like one of the nerds just basically sexually assaults like someone like a cheerleader, and then like it's all good because her boyfriend's an asshole. But it's like, yeah, but he still kind of raped her.
Yeah,
like he pretty much raped her.
80s movies, man.
Yeah, man.
80s movies.
Yeah, man. And
I mean, look at Animal House. Animal House is
yeah.
like
Wow.
totally discriminating on women.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The sad thing, at least in my opinion, and Mike, I'd like your feedback on this too, with the exception of like one of them, and I'm only talking about the students, none of those actors really went on to do anything else, except for Courtney Thorne-Smith, who was the one that moves in with them. She was on a bunch of stuff like Melrose Place and a bunch of, other TV shows. But
well, the one girl who was the Italian student.
Oh, the exchange student.
The exchange student. She was in one of the Austin Powers movies. She was a lot of vagina.
Yes, she was. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're right. I see that. But I'm saying as a whole, like, they don't have much. Like, that.
Yeah.
She's known for 3 things. She's known for Summer School, Austin Powers, and a role on a TV show, one episode of Jane the Virgin. So, she's not known for... I mean, she's done a lot. I'm looking at her IMDb. She's got a ton of stuff, but, like, nothing that you would recognize. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah. And the other girl she's like a bad driver or whatever, I think she was in one of the Freddy movies.
Okay. Do you remember her name? Like a character's name? Is Denise? Is that Denise?
Denise. Yeah, Denise.
Okay.
Yeah. She went on, I think she's in a Freddy movie or some type of horror movie.
She's actually in okay, so I had to maybe take back my statement because she's in The Lost Boys, which I know is a cult classic. I've never seen it, but I know it's
She was in The Lost Boys?
She was Maria in The Lost Boys, apparently.
Who the fuck is Maria?
Yeah, I don't remember Maria.
I don't know, Mike.
You're
the West Side Story fan. You break out into the song. I'm not going. But and then you're right.
Don't tempt me, motherfucker. I just sing this shit.
I just bit a girl named Maria.
There you go. And Mike, you're right though. She was in Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
Oh, 5. Okay.
So
yeah. The less we say about that one, the better.
And she was in House Party. I mean, these people are in movies, but they're not having these like prominent roles like they did in Summer School. That's the better way to put it.
Not like Kirstie Alley or Mark. Well, I guess Mark Harmon really didn't have a great movie career. I mean,
no, but he's been doing NCIS for like 20 years, so I think he's doing all right.
What you're not a fan of the remake of Freaky Friday?
Which one with
Lindsay Lohan?
Oh, that's right. He's in that, isn't he? I forgot.
Yeah.
I forgot he was in it. I did see that movie, actually, one time.
He plays Jamie Lee Curtis's new boyfriend. Dude, just for a split second, my mom is a massive fan of Mark Harmon, and because he's a very good-looking guy, so, like, whenever they're watching NCIS, my mom goes, Mark Harmon. But, like, my friend Michael and I, we were watching Freaky Friday, the remake, on DVD at his place, and it always froze at one very specific spot. And it's with Mark Harmon. He like the younger brother of Lindsay Lohan is like trying to sneak ice cream, and Mark Harmon sees him trying to grab ice cream from the freezer, and Mark is like has that look of like, I'm gonna rat you out unless you get the fuck out of this room and do what I tell you to do. And he goes like this. Like he's got like an imaginary spoon and puts it up to his mouth and goes with his tongue sticking out, and always froze right. So we only saw like the first 30 minutes of Freaky Friday forever until we were actually like, let's watch this fucking thing and like go out and get a new copy. And we're like, oh, okay, that's more or less what we expected.
Well, just to put him somewhere where you might actually care about his acting, Rico, he actually played Superman on a Justice League Crisis on Two Earths thing.
Animated?
I believe, yeah.
Oh, he would kill as a Superman voice. I'm sure they picked him for a very good reason.
That's a pretty heavy cast on that. William Baldwin is Batman. Chris Noth is Lex Luthor. James Woods is Owlman. I mean, Nolan North, who's everywhere.
Right.
So,
all right, I got a summer movie for you.
Please, yeah.
Jaws. Like, if that's not one of the most obvious set in summer movies ever. I mean, not only was it a summer blockbuster, it's set 4th of July weekend. I mean, it is.
Yeah,
true.
It gives that traditional look of blue skies, blue water, sand, everything. It just and as much as I don't like it, it's got all it's missing is like 4th of July fireworks because they're out in the ocean, so they're not. We don't.
You get that
see
at the end. It's just flying shark parts.
Right there, you go. There's the fireworks. But yeah, I mean, Jaws. Whether like I know CJ kind of finds it overrated, but like it is kind of that classic movie of. It's just a classic. I can watch that movie numerous times, never really get bored of it, even though I know what's coming, like the jump scare of the head kind of floating in the bottom of the ship, it doesn't scare me anymore, but it's still, I think it's just an overall achievement in filmmaking, but I definitely kind of, like I could smell the franks and burgers being, cooked like off to the side. I watched that movie. I'm like, it's summer right there.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, you got another one?
I agree. Yeah, I don't. This one's kind of an underrated one.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys would be, have heard of it, but One Crazy Summer.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it, but I am familiar with its existence. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite movies, like of all time. It stars like John Cusack, Bobcat Goldthwait. You got Demi Moore in it. It's got a good cast. It's Bobcat. It's Bobcat at his finest. It might have even been before the Police Academy movies came out. I think it's came out 86. So when did the Police Academy movies came out? Probably around the same time.
I think so. Hold on. I'm looking at the One Crazy Summer first because I wanted to see something.
I think I want to say the first Police Academy came out in like 84.
Well, okay,
but
so
I may be wrong.
Well, so yeah, you're both right. So Mike, you're right about when One Crazy Summer. Rico, you're right about Police Academy. So Police Academy was in 84, but wasn't Bobcat not until the second Police Academy? I thought.
Oh yeah, probably.
Oh no, he's in both. He's in the first one, and then he comes back in the second one as a cadet. I think. Isn't that it?
It's been a while since I've seen that movie either. So
yeah.
No, the first like 3 or 4 were okay, and then after that, fuck those movies too.
Yeah,
check
it out, man.
Basically, when they replaced Steve Guttenberg, that's what.
Good old Steve Guttenberg. But yeah, definitely check it out. It's one of like my favorite movies, of all time. I could watch that movie over and over again. And directed by Savage Steve Holland. He also directed a movie you might know called Better Off Dead. Which is another John Cusack starring movie. Another fantastic comedy that everybody should check out, man. I just, I have that I have that movie and Summer School on DVD and One Crazy Summer on DVD. Like,
I need to own Summer School. I do need to get that. See, and I'll tell you, Mike, I got this confused, and if I'm stealing one off your list, I apologize. But when you first said the title, and I haven't seen this other movie either, but I was going to make a comparison, and I was wrong. But I get that and Endless Summer confused because I know that's a big
surfing movie, right?
Right. And the thing was, and I'll go with my next movie because it ties into what I'm about to say. Dazed and Confused and Endless Summer came out around the same time. So there was this cult, like you either went Dazed and Confused or you went Endless Summer. Very rarely did you go both, and I was in the Dazed and Confused camp. So that's kind of where I hung out,
I agree. I guess like Dazed and Confused was kind of more of like the West Coast. Or Dazed and Confused was probably more like the East Coast, and Endless Summer is probably more like the West Coast.
But the irony is Endless Summer, or Dazed and Confused takes place in Texas, so
Oh yeah, true. Well,
but I get
slap dab in the middle. So
yeah, but yeah.
Just a quick acknowledgement for Summer School. Do you know who directed Summer School?
Well, I had it up a second ago. I do need to make one correction, by the way. It's Endless Summer 2, because Endless Summer 2 was 94. Endless Summer, the first one was like 65.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's Endless Summer 2.
I thought Endless Summer was an older movie.
I do see who directed it, but Mike, I'm going to let you have the glory there. So if you want to say it.
The late and great Carl Reiner.
Yeah, man.
R.I.P., buddy. He even has a cameo in the movie.
Does he where?
When we watched it last night, I noticed him. I was like, oh, Carl Reiner. He's the teacher who wins the lottery in the beginning, who quits his job.
You're right.
Which
which
opens the spot for Mark Harmon to fill as being the remedial English teacher for the summer school program.
Yeah. I actually have to go back to that real quick. One of my favorite parts of that, I know it's going to sound kind of dumb, Mike, but one of my favorite parts is at the very end when they're going over the test scores in the principal's office. And Dave passes the test, but Chainsaw fails. And he's like, how could you do that to me? He's like, dude, I can take it again. I can fail. You know? It was just
He's
funny.
like, you passed and I failed, you asshole.
Yeah.
I fucking love it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Reiners, I have a movie that's next, but it's not Carl, it's his son Rob.
Okay.
And that's Stand By Me.
Okay.
Love it.
I've actually never seen it. So.
Oh my God, it is. Think of it like it's kind of like a depressing Goonies.
Right, I've heard you described it that way before.
Which Goonies in itself is technically like the last weekend of summer.
Okay.
For them.
Okay.
Even though it's in what?
Oregon.
Oregon? Yeah. So like it looks kind of like it's not summer, but they're not in school. Like
Stand By Me is in Oregon too.
But that was also a mistake because when there's also a Portland, Maine, and when Stephen King wrote it, he said Portland, but he assumed that everyone was going to be like, clearly it's in Maine. But when Rob Reiner and Castle Rock got it, and they wrote the adaptation, they assumed it meant Portland, Oregon. So yeah, you're right. They're both in, but I don't even know if Goonies is in Portland. I think it's like,
not. We looked it up a while back because they did that screening. Remember, you said you were going to try to go if it wasn't for COVID.
It was like Astoria or something.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but I think this year's like the 40th anniversary or some ridiculous anniversary. So they're running like in October. They were going to run 30th. Okay, yeah. I think last year was the 30th, actually.
Yeah.
And in October, over the course of a weekend, they ran nothing but Goonies at a theater in the town in which a place takes place.
And Goonies, like I said, qualifies, but people will dismiss that because it's like, oh, well, it's, it kind of looks like the rainy season. It doesn't really look like summer, and all it takes is sort of in like the span of a day. Whereas like Stand By Me, I think it's a bigger acknowledgement because it's a couple days, but every time there's like a flashback or something, it looks like it's set in like the summertime. Like, I'll slightly ruin it for CJ. There's a portion where the whole movie is these four friends of varying different like character developments. Like there's the crazy one played by Corey Feldman, and he also wears glasses. Then you get River Phoenix, who's the tough one, who is sort of the leader, but at the same time, because his family's all fucked up and like his criminals, even though he tries not to be a criminal, they're going to label him as like, oh, that piece of shit, Chris, And then you get Will Wheaton plays basically the central character, and his character later is played by Richard Dreyfuss, and he's narrating the story to us. So it's all about this kid's summer and how he's this depressed storyteller. His older brother, played by John Cusack, had died from a car accident, and he was the favorite, son. His father disacknowledges him, and yada yada yada. And then you get Jerry O'Connell, who is the fat one, just the fat, really kind of immature, always crying, just always scared, and yada yada. So you have all these four boys, and they find out there's a body, like someone got hit by a train, and his body is somewhere in the woods. So they make this whole trek, and this is like 1958 or something is when it's set, late 50s, early 60s.
Sounds about right.
And they're just trekking, and as they're trekking in the woods to try and find this body to become famous and say, hey, we found the body, we're going to be in the newspaper. They learn about themselves and grow, and at one point, Will Wheaton's character makes up a story during a campfire session about this other character named Lardass, who's just this big fat kid who like has like a revenge plot where he goes to a pie eating contest. And I don't want to ruin the whole thing, but that is set during summer. So like I watched Stand By Me and I'm like, yeah, it's depressing as fuck, but it's also really funny.
Rico, what year did you say it was?
It's set in Portland, but
no, it's actually set in Castle Rock, Oregon.
Okay, well,
Castle Rock's the fictional town.
Well, yeah, you said Stephen King wrote it, right? So that makes sense.
Right,
yeah.
But Castle Rock is the town, but it's a part of Portland.
Okay. But what you said a year? What year did you say it was set?
I said it was set in like the late 50s, early 60s, but I know it was like made 1985.
No. The setting. It's set. It's summer of '59 specifically.
Okay, I said 58. So yeah. Okay.
No, you were close. That's why I was asking. I wasn't giving you shit. I wanted to make sure I heard you correctly.
Right.
Yeah, it opens up with present day with like Richard Dreyfuss reading the newspaper, and he finds out that this is not really a spoiler because it's the first scene. He's reading the newspaper and he sees the headline that his friend Chris had gotten murdered.
Yeah.
Which makes him, reflect on the summer of '59 when the four of them went to go look for a dead body, and it's a great coming of age movie. It's like one of my favorite, another one of my favorite movies of all time. Like definitely in the top 10.
Another one I've never seen, honestly.
You got young Kiefer Sutherland who like you watch it, you're like, oh, no fucking wonder he like grew on to play villains and shit because he's just a straight up like he's the town psychopath. As like a teenager, like 20-year-old teenage psychopath.
Yeah.
Rico, you were right. Goonies is Astoria, Oregon, is where you were. I think you said something very close, but not exactly. Just
I said Astoria.
Did you say Astoria? Okay. You were talking about Richard Dreyfuss narrating it. I just have a quick, interesting question to see if you guys know. Do you know who narrated the original Sandlot?
I don't. Here's the interesting thing is I know there's a narrator and then there's the actor who plays him as an adult like years later. Those are completely two different people.
Correct. I agree. Yes, you're correct about that.
I don't know who does the narrating.
Mike?
If I could make a guess, is it Daniel Stern?
Okay, so no. But that's why I brought this up because but that's why I brought it up because for years so did I thought that, Mike, until I looked it up for something that Rico and I did on a different episode, and that's reminded me to look it up again tonight. It's actually a guy named David Mickey Evans who is also the director and writer of the movie, but he sounds exactly like Daniel Stern. So if you had before I looked this up, asked me to bet a significant amount of money on who that was, I would have said Daniel Stern.
You'd be broke, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. I'm already broke, but I'd be worse. So, but yeah, it's crazy that he sounds so much like Daniel Stern, and yet it's not him. So,
why didn't he cast himself to play the grown-up, like, Smalls?
I guess he didn't want to be on screen.
Did he write the movie? Did you say he wrote the movie too?
He co-wrote it and directed it.
Yeah, that's probably why he went in narrate. He's probably writing from personal, his personal life. So
I know, but it's such a weird choice to have two separate adult actors play one adult version of a child. Well, it's just a weird decision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
like a Darth Vader type of situation.
It's a little bit different, but in How I Met Your Mother, in the final episode, you see Ted talking to his kids, but the whole time leading up to the final episode, it's a POV of him talking to his kids, and it's actually Bob Saget doing the voiceover. So Bob Saget is the narrator of that whole show up until like the last scene of the show.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and I don't even think the guy who plays the older what's the main character's name in Sandlot?
Oh, Smalls.
I don't even think he has a speaking line at the end because it shows him as he's like a baseball announcer, and I don't even think he says anything.
No, he's talking. He's doing all the announcing. He's announcing what's happening. He's doing the play-by-play.
No, he's not, and I think it's the in-stadium announcer, not the play-by-play. I think it's the in-stadium announcer.
But I don't think that actor actually says anything. I think once they cut to that part of the movie, it's just the narrator who's speaking the whole time.
Oh, he dubbed him in, you mean?
Yeah, and they kind of just show him as the announcer, and then they show the other kid as an adult, actually playing, professional baseball. So I don't think he actually has this, like a speaking line. I could be wrong, but
no, I just saw it, but he definitely is like cheering when they win. He's like up and he's like high fiving. He's like, yeah, like he's saying shit. But whether he was dubbed by the director is another question entirely.
Yeah,
that's Arliss Howard. Is that guy? That's who that is.
But the guy, like I said earlier, the guy who plays the actual kid Smalls. Like I think he's been arrested a couple times for public rowdy drunkenness. Like if they're going to do a Disney Plus show, I would be very surprised if they actually get Smalls. So
he's probably sick and tired of people coming up to him. You're killing me, Smalls.
And then what happens? Yeah, he gets so frustrated, he just pulls out a knife and actually starts stabbing them. Like, you're killing me, Smalls! Stop!
Yeah. Him and Screech from Saved by the Bell are going to come out with a new TV show late fall.
Oh, God. Rico, at least according to IMDb, he doesn't have any... Oh, wait, here we go. He was... He's had one incident in August of 2013 where he headbutted a cop while he was drunk. Yeah, but that's the only... Okay. Like, it's no. The point is, it's not like to Mike's point. Screech has like a laundry list of criminal offenses. This
okay. Well, I take back.
Screech actually stabbed somebody.
Yes,
yeah, he did
in a bar
and went to jail on Christmas and went to jail for like 10 months or something like that. But here's an interesting quick tidbit. Mike, he's from Tom's River.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. So didn't know that.
And Dennis Leary's in that too, isn't he? From New Jersey, maybe New York.
Hold on a minute.
Boston.
He went to high school. Right. Check this out. Born in Toms River, went to grade school in Hamilton Township, and went to high school in Lawrenceville.
Wow.
Yeah, so he's not far at all.
Yeah, Jersey guy.
Yep.
Another bit of interesting trivia is the guy who plays the grown-up Benny the Jet.
Yeah.
Is the older brother of the guy who plays the younger version.
Okay.
Hence the resemblance. They actually like holy fuck. But he, I think, actually died.
Which one?
Or the older one.
Let's see. Go ahead.
The older brother, I think he died, but he was also involved in some crime or some shit. Or I might be confusing the younger one with the older one. I know one of them's dead.
He has passed. He passed in January of 2008.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the why. I'm working on that. So.
But I think the younger one, the one who plays Benny the Jet, I think he actually it was involved in some crime or some shit. I don't know if anything happened to him.
You are testing my my searching skills here today, buddy. Let me tell you. Let's see. So that would be Mike Vitar, and he is still alive, just for the record.
Right.
Oh shit, he was in D3, the Mighty Ducks, the second and third Mighty Ducks too. I forgot about that. Which are not summer movies, but that's all right.
Aren't they doing a remake of that too, Mighty Ducks?
I had not heard.
I think they're doing a Disney Plus thing.
Disney Plus shows all around, man. Bring it all back.
Let's see. So on Halloween night 2015, he, being Mike Vitar, and fellow firefighters, a bunch of people, approached and chased and violently assaulted a college student for handing out candy to kids in the neighborhood where his grandmother lived. They choked him out for 6 minutes, and the guy had liver failure, brain damage, and other injuries. His pulse actually stopped, but because they were firefighters, they actually revived him. And then, and he was discharged with misdemeanor battery. So
yeah, that's awful.
Not that it's good, but that's, it's not like manslaughter or something. The guy lived apparently, so, but they falsely accused of the guy being on PCP, which he wasn't. So yeah, these people are not coming back for Sandlot the show.
That's what I'm saying, man. They're gonna have to do some. They're gonna have to be like, oh yeah, what's Benny up to? Oh, just being a star. Or they're not gonna mention shit. You think they'll bring back James Earl Jones?
Maybe. I mean, he did come back for that Lion King remake, and so.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a little bit easier for him to just sit in a booth and drink some tea and be like, remember.
Well, he was on season 8 or 9 of The Big Bang Theory, which was only like 4 or 5 years ago at this point. He was pretty active on that, so.
Okay, but 4 or 5 years ago is a little. I mean, he's 90, So
is he 90?
He might be, yeah.
He's yeah.
Fucking pushing me all over the place here, Rico.
Well,
where's our fact checker? Goddammit!
She's
he is
lost for words for once, Rico.
He is actually. He turned 89 this year, so he'll be 90 next year. Yeah. So
I'm sure they reached out to him to see if he'll,
I'm sure he did. Yeah, I'm sure they did. Yeah. Jesus. So anyway, but yeah, and same thing to your point though. If they're doing them, if Mike's right and they are doing a Mighty Ducks thing, they're not going to be able to bring Goldberg back either because that dude's in all kinds of fucking trouble too.
Yeah. And that mugshot of his, man, is.
Oh, I know, it's scary.
Bad, dude.
Yeah, and
Goldberg was the heavy set kid?
Yeah, the goalie. Yeah.
So you bring up another one that I have a soft spot for that he's in.
Sure.
It's called Heavyweights.
Oh, I've heard of it. I don't think I've seen it though.
It's like the Fat Camp. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay. I've never seen it, but I know you're talking about.
It is one of the earlier Judd Apatow movies because Judd Apatow wrote it and produced it, and you can kind of spot like, oh my God, there's Alan Covert. Like Alan Covert of Adam Sandler movies, like Grandma's Boy. He plays like a cameraman. And then Ben Stiller plays a dual role. Ben Stiller is basically playing the same role that he plays in Dodgeball. Just like, nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Nobody. Like,
well, that's because that's the only voice. Kind of role Ben Stiller knows how to play. Like, he's not
I mean, I agree with you, but there's different layers of Ben Stiller, especially like there's that Dodgeball kind of like voice, and then there's like, whoa, hey, hello, whoa, like just kind of like not, he's just super confused, and
I guess,
and then you get like Meet the Parents, which is just constant doofus, like, oh, this thing broke around me, like I can't deal with this, what am I gonna do, blah 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 blah, and then you get fucking like the stupid ones like Starsky and Hutch and shit like that, but
basically everything he's ever been in except,
I mean, I'm not a fan, but I'm telling you, Heavyweights is fucking funny because this fat kid gets kind of coerced into going to fat camp from his parents. His dad is played by Jeffrey Tambor, and it looks fun. He goes to the camp. The first day he goes to camp, and Kenan Thompson is in it, and Goldberg is there, and you get,
I love that we all call him Goldberg, and not his real name.
I don't know his first name, so that's why I call it.
Yeah, no, everybody that ever talks about him only calls him Goldberg, though. That's the thing, because like nobody ever fucking knows him from anything but fucking Mighty Ducks.
But then he
Sean Weiss
gets there,
is his name. Sean Weiss is his name.
Sean Weiss.
Yeah.
So, we find out that Jerry Stiller and Ann Mira, his real life wife, were the original owners. They'd owned it for like 42 years, and some tax problem, the camp got sold from underneath them to Ben Stiller's character, and he turns into like an actual straight up like weight loss camp with like regiments and shit, and like it's like a drill structure, kind of. Oh my God, he's so looking not good.
That's 170 days sober. From where he was.
Good for him.
Yeah, no, it's good for him, but that's where he got from meth.
I mean, he finally lost the weight. I'll give him that.
He needs teeth. And that's what this story's about. They set up a GoFundMe to get him teeth because he needs new teeth from the meth.
That's meth for sure, yeah.
Who's the guy on the right?
No idea.
I didn't know if it was
Drew Gallagher, I'm guessing. I don't know who that is, but I'm guessing based on the caption here. That's who that is.
25 grand?
25 grand, yeah. Dental work is not cheap. So
no, it's not. Brush and floss, fuckers. So it's all about these, like how these fat kids are just going through this crazy shit, and then how they eventually take revenge and get the camp back. It's kind of like did you guys ever see that episode of The Simpsons, Camp Krusty?
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly that, but with fat kids. That's all it is. You
know what? I was going to go to a different movie, but that leads into another one that I had picked out that I think people don't take as a summer movie, but it truly is, and that's The Addams Family Values.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
because that's kind of what the camp there was like, at least for Wednesday and Pugsley. Yeah, and the Jewish kid whose name escapes me right now, who's basically like a mini Gomez.
Well, he becomes a mini Gomez, but he's played by the guy from Numbers.
Okay.
Oh, you would recognize him. He's
I've never seen Numbers, so I.
He's in other shit. God, what the fuck is his name? Now, all right,
I'll look. I got it. Just keep talking.
But he was also in like
the show Numbers or the
show Numbers, but he was also in he's usually playing like the Jewish character
David
in movies.
Krumholtz?
Like he plays a Jewish record producer in Walk Hard.
David Krumholtz?
Yes.
Okay.
So
yeah, I see
that's who plays that. But I got thrown off with Family Values because they do a Thanksgiving like play.
Well, because it was about the Native Americans and it was a Native American camp. That's why. That's why they did the Thanksgiving play. That's
a weird thing to do, is have a Thanksgiving play in the middle of fucking
Addams
July.
Family. What do you expect?
Well, that's weird, though.
I will say, being that Mike and I are the same age as her, I had the biggest crush on Christina Ricci.
Oh, so did I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just filed for divorce from her husband.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Reel it in, CJ. Reel it in, buddy.
You're saying there's a chance? No.
No, there's no chance.
You know who this guy looks like? He looks like I'm gonna fuck him up. The dude from X-Men Poe Dameron.
Oscar Isaac?
A little bit, yeah.
Or Isaac Oscarson.
Isaac Oscars, yeah.
I can see the resemblance. Yeah. He looks like a Guatemalan David Krumholtz. I can give you that.
So, but going back to the movie itself, that's another summer movie, the Addams Family Values, the sequel. I don't
even think I've seen that one. I saw the first one. I don't know.
It's not
really.
It's not nearly as good. Yeah. It's really not.
They're both
I don't
good.
think so.
I think you have to watch them. I think they're both together, like a pretty good unit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, the first one holds up the second one. And I'm a Joan Cusack fan, but I did not like her in that movie.
That was one of the first. You want to talk about like random, like weird crushes? We're like, I don't know why I'm getting a boner. Like
Joan Cusack.
Yeah, for
the mystery boner.
For specifically,
you would like the serial killing psycho bitch. Like,
I mean, I love who I love.
Yeah.
And this has been another episode of Rico's Mysterious Boners.
Yes, it has.
But no, for some reason, I can't stand Joan Cusack's voice usually.
Wait a minute.
Like,
the guy who's forcing me to watch Toy Story movies doesn't like Joan Cusack's voice?
Yeah, because I watched the Toy Story movies for Joan Cusack. Said no one ever. Even John Cusack's like, I'm only in it for Tom Hanks.
Okay, fair enough.
But by the way, you bring up an interesting thing. Mike, he says I'm forcing him to watch Toy Story movies. I'm forcing him. How is that a thing? Like, it should have been a thing.
You've never seen any of them? You haven't seen any of the Toy Stories?
Not till recently. I've gotten through the first two and the first 10 minutes of the third one, and I was like, fuck this.
I mean, if you just watch the first one, that's fine. I mean, the first one's a great, great movie. They're all great movies.
Well, I can't get into the specifics, but I need to see them for something we're doing on a future episode. So that's why I need to watch them. But ugh. I
haven't seen the fourth one.
That's on Disney Plus. Go back, log in. They're all there.
Fourth one is my least favorite. I everyone's like, oh my god, it's so good. I'm like, you are all fucking high. This is some bullshit. Making Toy Story 4. Where the fuck's my Bug's Life 2? God damn it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's actually, Bug's Life. It's funny you say that, Rico, because, and I don't know if you remember this, but for whatever fucking reason, they decided to spend an extra however millions of dollars to do outtakes during the credits of Toy Story 2. And there's actually a scene with the Bug's Life guys. Like, we got a Bug's Life sequel, and it's like, well, it's a sequel. It's not Bug's Life, and then they get knocked off the branch.
Well, they started that in A Bug's Life. They did the whole bloopers thing But then they sort of dropped it. They stopped doing the bloopers.
Well, they did it in Toy Story 2. It's probably because it cost too goddamn much money to make it.
Well, it's because you can't make... They're not real bloopers. Because
right. It's forced.
Like, they went to the actors and were like, all right, we need you to pretend that you're fucking up.
Yes.
Like,
I know. Exactly.
Speaking of summer movies, isn't Bug's Life and Toy Story both summer movies?
They don't take place in... Well, Toy Story takes place in summer.
I think Bug's Life does because they're the whole... Or no, maybe that's ants. Maybe I'm getting confused.
Well, a Bug's Life, there's a whole thing about, like, they have to get more...
food for the fall and winter, right?
Right. So
it has to be taking place during the summertime.
Right. I'll give you that.
I didn't know if it was that or Ants. Remember the movie Ants? It's kind of like the same thing.
The one with Woody Allen and he's an ant. It's so funny.
And Kevin Spacey plays a pedophilia cockroach or a grasshopper.
No, he plays I don't know if he's a pedophile in that one. He's definitely a pedophile in
real life. Well, and so is Woody Allen, so I think that kind of
Very true.
But I married her. It's different.
No, it's not.
You don't know what you're talking about. It's just what I had to do, you know.
Mike, do you have another one you want to throw out there, bud?
Weekend at Bernie's.
You stole mine, motherfucker! That's all right. I stole Summer School from you, so I think that's only fair. But yeah, Weekend at Bernie's, definitely good summer movie.
Such a great movie.
Yeah, I the second one not so much, but the first one for sure.
Yeah, I never.
Weekend at Bernie's is the dragging around the body.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, Andrew McCarthy and
Jonathan Silverman.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that's him.
Yeah. I wasn't even sure if it was a summer movie. I thought, like in the beginning, I was like, "Is that a summer movie?" Like, does it take place in California? But it is New York City,
and it's Memorial Day weekend. So that's to me the definition of a summer movie because at least
it might be Labor Day weekend. Actually,
it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm pretty certain. I think you might be right, Mike, but they specifically say in the movie what weekend it is. Like. He says, I'm going out to the Hamptons for this holiday, and he says it. So, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure it's Memorial Day, but you could be right.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
I think they also talk about that it's the start of the summer. Like, other people on the island say that, so I'm leaning more Memorial Day than Labor Day.
Yeah.
I got one. Okay. It's not a specific movie. It's the majority of the Friday the 13th movies. It's summer camp.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I mean, they always look kind of gloomy and everything, but like it's technically, and actually, the majority of the camps in the Friday the 13th movies are actually set in Jersey. Yes,
so summer in Jersey.
Yeah. Haddonfield, right?
No, that's Halloween.
Okay, sorry.
Camp Crystal Lake.
Right,
Camp Crystal Lake.
Although they changed it, like the first one was Camp Crystal Lake, but then they always this is Camp Mountain Dew and stupid shit. And
really? It's not always Camp Crystal Lake?
No, Camp Crystal Lake is the OG, but then they always that's the thing. It's the same location, but they will change the names where it's like Camp Crystal Blue Geyser something or another and yada, yada, yada. And then at some point, like Jason does go to different parts. Like he stumbles upon another camp and shit, I think, in one of them. It's
definitely another Jersey-based horror movie.
It's actually
even Jason's last name is Voorhees, which is a South Jersey town.
Yeah,
which is why they named him Voorhees. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
I could be wrong, but
whereas fucking Nightmare on Elm Street set in Ohio.
Is it Ohio? Okay,
it's Springwood, Ohio, the Springwood slasher. Which there's that part in Freddy vs. Jason where they're in Elm Street in Ohio, in Springwood, and then they got Jason in the fucking back seat of the van, and they're like, we gotta take him to Crystal Lake, and they drove from Ohio to Jersey, and
like
the
a half hour.
Yeah, the sheriff was like, I need roadblocks set up. We're gonna contain this motherfucker. They just bypass the roadblocks and drive to Jersey from Ohio in an hour and a half in a fucking van.
You could do it in a day, but it would be more like an 8-hour drive. I mean,
I know, but they do it at night,
No, I get
like,
it. I'm just saying.
When they get to Crystal Lake, it's still night. Like, the sun's not rising and shit.
I can't confirm the name changes. The only other... Hold on. Here we go. Camp Crystal Lake, and then Camp Forest Green, and then Camp Blood are the three names that it's showing.
Well, Camp Blood is just what the
nickname
call it. Yeah.
That's the only name. Yeah, that's the only names that are actually coming up, though.
Yeah, I knew it was like they changed it. They renamed it.
It's definitely not Camp Mountain Dew. That's for sure.
You sure?
Yeah, I think so. But
that's the porno version.
And then according to this, it's Cunningham County, New Jersey.
Cunningham County.
Yeah.
After Sean S. Cunningham.
The guy who directed it.
Yeah.
So.
Was there a Savini Lane too?
Anyway, I think Mike, it's your turn actually. But if you have one.
Let's see. No, I did Weekend at Bernie's. You go ahead and do it.
Okay. I'm going old school for this last one. I think it's my last old school one. Meatballs.
Oh, Meatballs.
Ah.
How did I fucking forget about that?
Meatballs is a great... I've seen Meatballs 2. It's not nearly as good. Meatballs 1 is fantastic fucking movie, though.
I kind of found a bit overrated.
You're not a Bill Murray fan, so that's the problem.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Bill Murray, but even then, it wasn't like that. I just thought it was kind of a screechy movie, personally.
A screechy movie? I didn't see Dustin Diamond anywhere near that movie.
All the kids singing and everything in the opening scene, I just felt like went way too long. And it just kind of ruined my... I mean, I sat and watched the whole thing, and I was like... there were some parts that I laughed, but I just thought, fuck, what an awful way to start the movie.
My favorite... I mean, not that it's a musical, but my favorite song from that is the one at the end where they talk about the CITs. No, you don't remember that?
I only saw it the one time, so...
Yeah.
I remember, but I don't remember exactly what the words were and everything.
Also, what the fuck? What a misleading fucking title. As an Italian, I was looking for the fucking spaghetti the whole goddamn time.
For fuck's sake,
no spaghetti.
Yeah.
No spaghetti.
Yeah. Damn, man. I totally forgot about meatballs. Such a good pull, CJ. Good pull.
Thank you.
Yeah, pull those meatballs.
Yeah. Well, someone's got to do it. So,
sticking with the same realm of meatballs and like summer camps and everything like that, I got like a movie that's not as old. I mean, this might be the most recent movie that we've talked about with this list, and that's Wet Hot American Summer.
See, that was another one in that same realm with Endless Summer 2 and Dazed and Confused, wasn't it? I believe.
Nah, this came out in 2001.
Okay, so I'm thinking of a different movie. All right.
Yeah, so it's like
and then they've since made a sequel on like Netflix. They made like a sequel series.
Right.
The first day of camp. According to
Wet Hot American Summer is definitely one of these movies you gotta check out. Got a lot of good one-liners in there and everything like that. Good cast, funny cast.
There's 2 sequels to it, actually.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, there's
Wet Hot. It's a series. Yeah, they did a series on Netflix.
Well, no, this looks like it's movies, Mike. Hold on. I'm trying to see if it's a series.
There's like a Wet Hot American Summer. Like it's kind of like a prequel.
There's the first day of camp.
First day of camp.
And then 10 years later.
Right, yeah.
Oh,
but it's not a movie,
it's a series. Yeah. I see it now. Okay, sorry.
But it's pretty funny because Wet Hot American Summer, the movie, takes place on like the last day of camp. Mm-hmm. And when they do the remake or whatever, the prequel, I should say, on Netflix, it's the first day of camp. Mm-hmm. And they look completely different. They're all like overweight. They all they all aged about 20 years, obviously, because Wet Hot American Summer came out in 2001, and then this one just came out probably like 2 years ago or whatever. So
17.
17. So in that itself, it's just hilarious to see how much different the actors look compared to what they did, back in 2001. But it's a great movie. Everyone should check it out. Definitely.
I'll have to watch that.
It's a cult classic. It's one of those, movies you could define as a cult classic movie.
Now, I'm expecting a little bit of ribbing from you guys because I got another Lindsay Lohan movie to bring up. But, like, you have to remember, like, I grew up in the 90s. Like, she was everywhere. I mean, like, so, like, I actually have to acknowledge, like, the remake of The Parent Trap is a summer movie in part because they meet at summer camp. I have no idea if the original does. I don't know where the fuck.
I think they do. I think it's a true to form in that way.
It's a summer camp. Okay. Well, then both Parent Traps, but the one that I grew up with was the remake. And I remember like looking at them like, first off, I have my own issues with that movie just as a whole. Like, who the I like how they like meet and look at each other and they're not like, why the fuck do you have my face? They're kind of like, they're never once they're like solving the mystery of them being twins. Like, wait, I have a dad, you have a mom, you've never met your dad, and I've never met my mom. Also, we have the same fucking face. Like, there's resemblance, and then there's that. Like, so, but it's a Nancy Meyers film. I have a fondness for Nancy Meyers. And I just remember looking at that summer camp. It just looked fun. Like, I went to summer camp when I was a kid, but like, I mean, yeah, mine were fun too, but I never got like the 3-month summer camp experience. I got like the 1 week. That's what my family could afford.
Did you meet your twin?
No, they thought that we were triplets. My brother Alex actually was a camp counselor for the camp, and that's how I got to go to the camp that he was counseloring at one. Yeah, it was a Jewish camp called Camp Tawanga. I'm not Jewish, so that was interesting. And I was like, I went there just for the sole reason of being like to hang out with my brother, but I wasn't in his bunk, so to speak, or his cabin. Not his bunk, his cabin. That's what I meant to say.
It was a sleepover camp. Like, you go there for like the whole week, because like there's like day camps and stuff like that they do. You just go there for the day, and then parents pick the kid up and everything like that.
It was a sleepover one. It was just for a week. But the one that I prominently went to was one called Camp Loma Mar, which was like funded and done by the YMCA. So it was like it wasn't like a fat camp, but it was like be healthy and be active. It was just a sleepaway camp, and I kind of went there consistently every year for like just a week. It was never longer than that.
Did the village people close out the week?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what to say about that one. Just no.
No. Just no. To double back, yes, it's summer camp for both Parent Traps. I confirm that. So
okay,
yeah. Mike, I think it's your turn, buddy.
I might have ran out of everything by now. Right, I know we kind of talked about Dazed and Confused a little bit, but
that's fine.
That was definitely on my list.
I've got several. So, do you guys want a depressing movie or a comedy? Because I have both.
Well, I'll go depressing and then end on a.
Well, I'm not going to end on a comedy. I've got multiples to go, but the depressing one is My Girl.
Oh, yeah, My Girl.
Oh, fuck you.
What? It is. It's a summer movie. Whole thing takes place in the summertime.
God damn it.
Yeah, that one hurts.
That one really hurts.
I asked.
But it is such a good movie, though.
It is a good movie. The second one's actually not half bad either. First one's way better, but the second one's not bad.
I've never.
How did they just write that shit too? Like, it's such like a feel good movie. Then all of a sudden, you fucking kill a kid because of a bee sting. It's like
no, it's not just a bee. It's not just a bee sting. It's multiple fucking bee stings.
Yeah. Also, it's not just a kid. It's Macaulay Culkin. Yeah. Like, that motherfucker was the king of child stars, especially at that time, where it's like, hey, you like Home Alone? We're gonna kill his ass.
Hey, remember that little kid from Uncle Buck? Yeah, we're gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah. Hey, Richie Rich, not anymore.
Yeah. Actually, we talked about Uncle Buck a few episodes back. I forget. Yeah. The comedy I was gonna go for in that same thing is
it wasn't My Girl?
No.
That wasn't the comedy one?
That wasn't the comedy, no. American Pie 2.
Oh, okay, such a good pull. Such a good pull.
Because that whole thing takes place at that beach house during the summer.
Oh my God.
After their first year at college, right?
Yeah.
I still think that's probably my favorite of the American Pies.
It's probably most people's favorites to the series. You know, the first one's good, but the second one is way better. That's one of those ones where we talked about the sequel being better than the first one, Rico. That's one of those. You know, first one's good, but the sequel's way better. And then Look, American Wedding was not good, but I don't know if you... if you saw American Reunion, though, that was not half bad, actually.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I disagree. I think the first three feel like an actual trilogy, and then you get American Reunion, where it's the obvious, we're going to reboot with the old cast. It just feels kind of off-center a little bit.
Well, what was
it feels like a part... I mean, ironically enough, I thought Bandcamp, the first spinoff, felt closer to the original look and feel of the first three American Pies, personally.
Well, see, here's the thing, though, right? And this is where I might have to disagree. You and I were talking off air yesterday, Rico, and I'm going to give away a little bit of an upcoming episode where you said, and I don't want to get into the details tonight, but what the fuck is Cars 2? Because, because it doesn't really meld with the first one, and then the third one really does, right? You know, same thing for me with the American Pies. Like, for me, if you just take out American Wedding and then put in American Reunion as the third film and just explain that they got married, like, you don't have to see the wedding, but just explain that you know, the two characters got married, then I think it fits just fine, you know?
I actually will agree with
that.
I'll agree with you on that one. That's actually a really good way of looking at it, because you could just assume they got married,
or even just reference it. Just say, "Hey, when we got married 10 years ago, or whatever it was," you know, like.
Well, there's not much backstory you really need to talk about.
Exactly.
To fill in, like, these two got married, and that's it.
They even say that the guy who plays the jockey one. I can't remember his fucking
Chris Pine is the real guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
No, not Chris Pine.
No, Chris. I'll look it up. But yeah, it's not Chris Pine.
Whites
You're right.
or something. I don't know. But the guy who plays the jockey one, he like wasn't in American Wedding, but he comes back in American Reunion, and he even says, like, "Dude, I missed your wedding. There's no way I'm going to miss the reunion."
Right.
So like, there's still that throwback.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm looking.
I would definitely point out the American Wedding as the black sheep in that. You know, in those four movies, even like the look of it looks like a lot more grainy and a lot more darker the way it was shot. It just doesn't fit with like the way the other ones were shot. Like it looks out of place compared to all the other ones.
There's that, and there's the fact that they kind of made Stifler the main character, even though it's about their wedding. Stifler was like the focal point of that movie.
Yeah,
and Stifler as a character. I'm not saying anything bad about Sean William Scott, but Stifler, the character, is not a focal point type of character. Like, he needs to be, you know, like, he's more of a focal point in American Pie 2, but he has the other three guys with him, or the other four guys with him to kind of balance it out. Whereas in American Wedding, it's really just him.
Well, you're right. It is kind of prominently Stifler's movie in the third one, but arguably just as much in Reunion. It's all about how he still has to learn the same lessons of, like, the party's over, and he has to grow up, and he has to do this. Yeah. That is the running theme of the American Pie movies, particularly for that character.
Right.
But never more blatant than the third one. But the fourth one, like, they all kind of cover all the characters' is bullshit. Jim, fucking Finch, and you got fucking, I mean, but they even kind of just completely ignored certain characters. Like, remember how Kevin, the Thomas Ian Nicholas character, like, he's kind of like the leader of the group in the first one and kind of the second one.
The second one.
And he's got like 4 lines of dialogue in the in American Wedding. Like, they just like, fuck you. Like,
well, in Wedding, yes.
In Wedding, and then in Reunion, they kind of bring him back.
Yeah.
But, like, he was the guy who started the pact in the first. I don't know. They're just weird transitions for those characters, and we spent longer than we probably should have talked about American Pie.
Well, no, because the second one, I think, you know, especially for like Mike and I, because it's right after we got out of high school, so I feel like that was a. You know, not right after, but not long either. It was
a year following, yeah.
Well, American Pie was...
They were the class in 99.
Well, that was the first one. I'm talking about the second one specifically. The second one was a couple years. It was right around our second, probably our second year of... Yeah, so it would be our second or third year of college. And, you know, so I identified with the characters a little more. At least I felt like I did. You know what I mean? So for me, that, like... This is like my... like almost my Animal House, like just from a generational perspective, not necessarily like the story, because it's a very different story. If anything, Van Wilder's closer to Animal House than American Pie. But from a generational perspective, I really identify with those characters. That's why I feel like I like that movie so much. Same thing with Road Trip. Road Trip's not a great movie, but I fucking love it. You know what I mean? So
Euro Trip was better.
I didn't see Euro Trip, so I can't.
Oh
can't
my God,
speak to that
dude,
one.
Euro Trip is like everyone has so many people's guilty pleasure it's so weird because it's not like you have huge stars.
Right.
It's not like you're relying on like what Tom Green and Breckin Meyer. It's just
like no names pretty much.
Yeah, but see again in that movie, the focus of Road Trip real quickly is Sean William Scott, and I mean Breckin Meyer is the main character, but the focus of the comedy anyway is Sean William Scott and DJ Qualls. Those are your comedic focuses in that movie, I think.
Euro Trip all the characters are funny in their own way. Maybe not Michelle Trachtenberg as like the sort of the token woman of the group.
Okay.
But both premises are pretty much the same. It's a guy having to travel to fix up a fuck up that he made with a girl to try and get the girl in the streams.
Gotcha.
That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
But Euro Trip is a little different because the main character Scotty comes home from being drunk at a party where his girlfriend has broken up with him, and the band at the party is led by Matt Damon. And it's Matt Damon with a completely shaved head. He's got tattoos on his neck, and he's singing this fucking song called "Scotty Doesn't Know."
Oh, I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard the song.
Him revealing that he's been fucking Fiona, Scotty's girlfriend, forever. He's like, Scotty doesn't know that Fiona and me do it in the van every Sunday. She tells him she's in church, but she doesn't go. Still, she's on her knees, and Scotty doesn't know. Like, it's just, it's so. That's a song that's just been seared onto my brain forever. But like, so he has a pen pal in Germany named Mika, which is the German feminine form for Michelle. But because he's shitty at German, thinks that's Mike. He thinks it's a dude. So Mika wants him to come out and like arrange a meeting and get together. And he's like, you crazy German fuck, stay away from me. You crazy pervert. And then he realizes like, oh, that's a chick and she wants me. And so they fly to fucking Europe and hijinks ensue. And Vinnie Jones, who played the Juggernaut, bitch. He plays basically just Vinnie Jones, just a loud, angry
soccer hooligan.
Yeah. But there's not a whole. I mean, ironically enough, Matt Damon is the biggest star, but he was uncredited in the movie.
He loves doing those little weird cameos where like he just shows up and
he really does.
He does, yeah.
Finding Forrester was like, what the fuck is Bourne doing in here?
Fucking Thor. Ragnarok.
Yeah.
He just shows up in these movies. But anyway, I want to back up real quick just to correct myself. Chris Klein. So I was right.
Chris Klein,
I was
right.
Close. I had the sound right, the wrong name.
I said Chris Weitz, but I think that's the director of the first one.
Yeah, hold on. I was just on it.
It's all right. It's just another Chris. So it's not Chris Pine. We know that. It's
definitely not Chris Pine.
It's not Chris Hemsworth. It's not Chris Pine.
No. And you're right. It's him and Paul Weitz. So I think it's like a Coen Brothers kind of thing.
Which, by the way, I have to correct you, CJ.
Yeah.
You sent me a text saying Toy Story was written by Joss Whedon and Joel Coen.
Yeah.
Yes. That's not the right Joel Coen. That's just a dude named Joel Coen. That's not Joel and Ethan Coen.
Okay, well, I didn't know. I mean, okay.
I'm just telling you.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, Joss Whedon and you hated it despite the fact that you thought like two guys that you liked their movies wrote it.
Yeah, basically. Well, I'm not the biggest Joss Whedon fan these days for reasons. But
yeah, did you read that article about him getting kind of
yeah, we're not gonna
blamed for being okay.
Yeah, we're not gonna go there. But yes.
All I say is I have a whole lot more respect for Cyborg now. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Booyah, bitch.
That kid's actually from Jersey.
Cyborg?
Oh, Ray Fisher?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
A girl I used to work with actually went to high school with him. So He's a local guy.
Nice.
I'm on his side. Jersey strong.
I'm on his side.
I'm on his side anyway, just based on what I read. But yeah,
would it help if it would be confusing if Joss Whedon was from like Jersey or some shit? I'd be like, Jersey, but who do I choose?
According to this, Rico, he's from. Okay, so he was born in Baltimore, but he went to Haddon Heights.
Okay, so he's
and grew up in Lawnside.
very close.
So,
very close.
Yeah, grew up in Lawnside.
So not only is he from Jersey, he's South Jersey, so which is even better.
Damn right.
The South will rise again, from Jersey.
Anyway, Rico, do you have another one? Because I have. I'm getting low, but I
had one more. I'm trying to. Okay, this is one of those fuck you movies, but it's sort of like I remember watching when I was a kid, and it's definitely not as good, but it's still one of those coming of age feel good ones. Now and Then, which was just kind of the girls' version of Stand By Me. It's very, very placated for girls. But I remember watching it, and it is. I mean, it's been dubbed the girl version of Stand By Me. But I mean, I had a semi stepsister when I was growing up, so like I watched girls shit when I was younger, and it's 4 girls, and it's all like flashbacks. So like the grown up versions are like Demi Moore, Rosie O'Donnell, Rita Wilson, and Melanie Griffith.
Wow, that's a pretty good cast.
Yeah.
And the young girls, one of them unfortunately has passed away. So she was only in like one thing, and it was like that thing. But she died like recently of like, I think she was struggling with an asthma attack and actually had a heart attack or some shit.
Oh,
shit.
But Christina Ricci plays the young Rosie O'Donnell. You got Gabby Hoffman, who was like in the Patriot Games movie. She like played Harrison Ford's daughter, that little girl. She was also like the younger daughter in Uncle Buck.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The younger
one, not the psycho chick. No. She plays the young Demi Moore. You get the girl from American Beauty, Kevin Spacey's daughter, not Mina Savari.
Okay.
And she plays the young Melanie Griffith, and then the girl who died, she played the young Rita Wilson. And all these characters are like Stand By Me, they're kind of just varying degrees of different personalities. So you got the butch tomboy one, played by Christina Ricci. You got the one who is dealing with crazy bullshit parents divorcing and how it's affecting her. And then you get the Melanie Griffith one who wants to be an actress and like wants to be a woman. So she's like putting water balloons in her bra to have boobs essentially. And then you got the Rita Wilson character who's the slightly chubby one with a over-sheltering, overprotective mother played by Bonnie Hunt, who wants to explain her. There's a scene where she's like, she wants to explain to her daughter the birds, the bees, and sex and everything. And she's like, okay, all women have a flower, and all men want to spray their watering can in the garden. And like the girl is just like,
I thought all women had velvet butterflies.
Well, certain women have velvet butterflies,
gotcha.
buddy.
All right.
And it's all about like, it's just a very tamed version of Stand By Me, but it's very much a summer 60s Sandlot Stand By Me type of coming of age movie. And it's how they haven't been together in years. And then Rita Wilson's character is about to give birth. So they all have to come from their respected towns and reminisce and blah, 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 blah. And there's like the town legend and yada. It's, I'm not really doing it justice. And by no means am I saying this is as good as Stand By Me or Sandlot, but it's definitely not bad. Like there's an interesting scene where Brendan Fraser of Mummy fame, plays a Vietnam veteran, and he's just sort of walking, and the girls riding their bikes meet up with him and like are just fascinated by him, and they have this really interesting conversation about war, and he gives them all cigarettes, and and he's uncredited in the movie, but there's some good in that movie. I will defend it, but it's nowhere near as good as Stand By Me.
Okay. All right.
I might have to check that one out. It's got a good cast, so
it does sound interesting.
Yeah.
I have one that was one that I wanted to say, but our correspondent actually hit me with it as well. So I feel like I do need to let Jay have her little say in this. But I agree with her. Point Break, the original with Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves, is a summer movie.
Love Point Break.
Yeah, really good. Never saw the remake. Don't want to.
No, I heard it was god awful.
I heard that
probably
too.
Probably got like 1% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I heard that much like the same. I heard the RoboCop remake was equally as terrible.
I've heard.
I didn't even know they did a RoboCop remake. So
they did.
They RoboCop remake has a good cast, but I haven't seen it. I've heard good things about it, but I've heard like it's just what you expect. It's just not as good as the first one.
Now, ironically, I've heard that the Judge Dredd remake is much better than the Stallone one. So
I heard the same. I heard that Carl Urban does like a fantastic job.
I do want to see that. I actually been meaning to watch that. But anyway, that's the last one I had on my list. But I did, while we've been chatting, pulled up, according to IMDb, the 100 summer vacation and beach movies that are on here. I don't know if we need to go through every one of these, because I can tell you right off the top of my head, I don't agree with some of them.
Well, I've got one last that I picked.
Oh, you do yours first then, please. Yeah.
And it's another dark movie, but it's technically a summer film, and that is The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Okay. I
haven't seen that one, but I know it's really good.
Oh, Matt Damon. Holy shit.
Scotty doesn't know.
Dude, Scotty fucking knew. So Talented Mr. Ripley is an obsessed psychopath who is really good at like taking over identities and shit. He's sort of like, imagine if you took Leo's character from Catch Me If You Can, but made him like a serial killer.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what the movie's about. I heard it's like really, really good. I just haven't seen it.
I did just think of one that, like, how did I not think of this? Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And I'm just gonna say the series, because all the movies in this take place in the summer. Major League. All 3 Major League movies. They're fucking baseball movies. So
yeah, I'll give you that. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean the first one is the best of the 3 by a fucking mile. But
yeah, love Major League.
Yeah,
you guys have got to see Talented Mr. Ripley though. Like,
yeah,
it's set in Italy. The majority of the film, Talented
Mr. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, Talented Mr. Ripley is like one of those movies that I've been meaning to see ever since it came out, but I just keep on forgetting about it, and it's been so long now, because that probably came out in like late 90s maybe early 2000s or whatever. Yeah. It's just like one of those movies I'm like, I got to see this movie, but I just keep on forgetting about it. But yeah, like I'll check to see if it's on Netflix or something.
It's got a who's who of, I mean, not just the obvious of Matt Damon, but you got Jude Law, like young Jude Law, and you got Gwyneth Paltrow, which, I mean, hit or miss on that one, but she's good in it. I'll give her that. Right. And then you get...
But just because you're stupid doesn't mean you can't act.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You got Jack Davenport from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And then there's one other. Who the fuck am I missing? There's I guess that's it. I guess that's really kind of the main... Oh, no, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
And he is... So the premise is like, Jude Law is like just a rich fucking dude, and his dad, who I think played by James Dearborn, CJ, from fucking Son of a Woman.
Wait, I'm sorry. What are we talking?
The Dean from Son of a Woman?
Yeah.
So he plays the father of Jude Law, and he hires Matt Damon, Tom Ripley, to go to Italy at his payment to find his son and bring him back, because he's just like spoiled rich kid, won't leave, won't go. And so Matt Damon goes there and gets enamored by Jude Law and the Italian like lifestyle and the rich hoity-toityness, and becomes like obsessed with not just wanting to be with him, but wanting to basically become him. And it's just this weird psychological fucked up thriller. And you're like, it's the closest thing you'll ever see to Matt Damon really being a villain. I mean, he's bordering villain in as Loki in Dogma, but I mean, this is straight up villainous shit.
Was he nominated for anything for that role?
I don't know if he was, but I think the director, Anthony Minghella, who did pass, I think he was up for a nomination.
Mm.
I want to say maybe Jude Law may have been up for a Best Supporting.
He was
good. He was
I'm
very
on the
good.
IMDb now. I'm trying to find where it says the awards. I'm trying to find that section.
Philip Seymour Hoffman is is the only guy who like sees right through Tom Ripley's facade, CJ.
Okay, yeah.
And because I fucked up saying I read facade, but I fucked it up.
No, you said it right. I told the story about Kevin Hart. That's where that came from. You said it right. Yeah.
You did it right. So Philip Seymour Hoffman just like sees right through. He's like, I don't know who you are, but you're like, I see right through your bullshit.
Okay, so it was nominated for in the Academy Awards only. He was Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Jude Law. Best Writing Adapted Screenplay for Anthony. I'm not attempting that last name.
Minghella.
Best Original Score. And Best Production Design and Best Costume Design. That was the nominations for Mr. Ripley. Now, just to go with your whole point about Matt Damon, it was nominated for an MTV Movie Award for Best Villain for him. Go. So there you go.
And that's a movie that they poke fun at in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where Ben Affleck was like, "You're gonna do another one of your weird gay psycho killer movies?"
Yeah. Sometimes you do the friend piece, and then you can do the artsy piece or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah. I want to go into, unless you guys have something else you want to say, I want to get into this list. Although I am seeing something that's not on the list that I would ask, do you think it qualifies as a summer movie? And that is The Social Network.
No. I wouldn't say.
By the end of it, it's summertime when he's out in Palo Alto. I don't think so. I'm just asking the question. Like I
think the constitute as a summer movie, it has to take place primarily majority through the summertime.
Minimum halfway point of being like summer.
Yeah.
Like that's the same argument of like, well, what about in Notting Hill where there's a whole sequence where he walks through and all the seasons change during a montage? Does that make it a winter and a summer? Like, no, fucker. Like,
but at same standard, Monty Python and the Holy Grail would be a summer movie, which it's not. But I'm just saying, like, because they go through all the seasons there. Okay, so this list, I'm only going to pick up the ones that I feel like are worth discussing about whether or not they are or they aren't. So not all the ones that are here. 50 First Dates.
Oh, never seen it.
Oh, I have seen it. I just didn't realize it was set in it's set in Hawaii.
Right, so I that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's also beach movies. So that's what it says. It says 100 summer vacation and beach movies. So I guess that's why that's being put on the list as a beach movie.
Okay. I mean, I get what their angle they're going for, but I would never think of 50 First Dates as a summer movie.
Neither would I.
In comparison, I would think of Lilo and Stitch, also set in Hawaii, as a summer film. I would consider that one.
Okay. Here's one that I found interesting. Something's Gotta Give.
It's another one I haven't seen.
That's a Nancy Meyers movie, so I have seen that. That's Nicholson, Diane Keaton.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess that is a summer movie, but it also ends at Christmas.
Okay.
So,
see, I haven't seen all the way through, so I didn't know.
That's an underrated one, to be honest.
Here's one that I'm surprised nobody mentioned. I can see why it may not be something that's on our radar, but we should have thought of it for this list of ours. Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing, yeah.
I've never really actually seen Dirty Dancing.
I haven't either in its entirety, but it does take place at a summer camp in the Catskills, so I think that qualifies it as a summer movie.
Yeah, definitely.
If it's a summer camp, it definitely does.
Well, not a summer camp, but a summer resort.
It takes place during the summer, yeah. 100%. Right. From beginning to end, yeah. I think it starts in the beginning of the summer and it ends at the end of the summer.
If we can count Friday the 13th, then yeah, we can definitely count Dirty Dancing.
All right, here's one I think is going to really do a conversation for you two. I can't really speak into it, but well, maybe not you either, Rico, but I'm not sure. What about Bob?
What about Bob?
What about Bob definitely counts as a summer movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%, yeah. That's another movie I haven't seen in God knows how long.
I've actually never seen it, so I can't, yeah.
I mean, you're more of a Bill Murray fan than I am.
Yeah.
But I really liked him in this movie.
Okay.
But, just my luck. You'll watch it and be like, this was the worst fucking Bill Murray movie I've ever seen.
Yeah. I feel like What About Bob is one of those movies, like, either love it or you hate it. Like, it's, nothing in between, really.
I will say this. I think the ending is very abrupt and just like, what the fuck? That's my argument. Without ruining it for you, CJ.
Right. Let's see. I'm trying to shoot
Are the ones that we listed, is that on the list as well? The ones
yeah, there's
we talked
several, not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys because we know the obvious answer, but I want you to add layers to it to like kind of rationalize it. Independence Day. Obviously, by the title alone, it is a summer movie.
How did we not? Yeah.
But like, there's the patriotism of the 4th of July aspect to it, but it doesn't feel like it's set in summer.
But
it's like more Armageddon themed movie than it is like a summer movie.
Right, but to be fair, if we're talking, if our criteria is that it takes place in summer, the movie starts on July 3rd and ends on like the 4th, maybe the 5th if you want to get real technical, might be the 5th. That's summer. I mean, I get your point that it doesn't feel summer-esque. Like, there's a movie that I like that I think actually takes place in summer, but I couldn't confirm it, and it's called Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. It's a John Cusack movie, and he's down investigating. He's a writer, and he's writing about a murder down in New Orleans. But I'm pretty certain...
Kevin Spacey, right?
Kevin Spacey, Jude Law. And I just think that I think it does take place in the summer, but I would agree that it doesn't feel like a summer movie. Do you know what I mean? I
haven't seen that one either. But.
At the same time, Short Circuit 2 feels like a summer movie to me, but it's certainly not. You don't know when it actually. I think it actually takes place during Christmas. Like, I think it's actually in the fall, like leading up to Christmas, because So, but it feels like a summer movie. So. Well, fuck. I mean, by if anything feels like a summer film, Star Wars is a summer film because it's like the first half is on Tatooine, a goddamn desert. So.
Well, that may be in winter. We have no idea.
We have no idea.
We don't know what their seasons are really.
Maybe what if Hoth is set during summer?
Right? Could be.
Like, imagine if the winter really came.
Okay, here's another one for you guys to comment on because I've never seen it. Or no, I have seen it. So, but I think it does qualify. Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
I don't know if that's a summer movie because it could be. It very well could be.
It's certainly a tropical. What?
Yeah.
See, all these Hawaiian movies are misleading because they're all set in Hawaii.
Right.
And what the fuck does Hawaii look like any other season? I'm not being offensive. I don't know. I've only been to fucking Hawaii in the summer, and every movie I've seen, it just looks like that. Yeah. I know you could have rain at like summer rains in Hawaii, so even if it's like cloudy and depressing and rainy and shit, it could still be the middle of fucking July.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Like it very well might be taking place in like June, July, August, like during the summer months, but I don't know if they reference, what month it is. I know they live in California and he wants to go away and, forget about his girlfriend, so he goes to Hawaii, but I don't know what months he's out there.
All right, here's another one. This one I think is. I'm going to say that up front before I say it because I've seen the movie. Cheaper by the Dozen 2.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It takes place
I'll take your word for that.
It takes place while they're all on vacation. So and it's a family film, so the kids are out of school. So I'm going to go with yes.
Well, you could be on vacation during the Christmas holidays too.
No, but they're at like a camp. They're at like a lake house and stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. Here's another one. Honeymoon in Vegas.
These are movies that I have not seen.
Rico.
Honeymoon in Vegas. Is that the Brittany Murphy, Ashton Kutcher movie?
I know that's
Sarah Jessica Parker, right?
Let's see. Maybe I got this. Is James Caan, Nicolas Cage, Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah, Pat Morita.
Never saw it.
Okay, never mind. Moving on. All right, Rico. Here's one we've talked about. I don't know if it qualifies as a summer movie, but we've talked about this movie before. American Graffiti.
Oh yeah, American Graffiti, classic.
Yeah, despite the fact that I am a stone's throw from the famous Mel's Diner, I don't give a fuck. I don't know. I forget when it's set because I still have the inability to watch that movie from beginning to end without falling asleep. Yeah. I've tried. It's so boring.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I like that movie. I like how it unfolds and everything, and that's what they did back in the 50s. You know, people just drive around and try to pick up girls, try to score some beer, some weed. I don't know. But you know, without American Graffiti, you probably don't get Dazed and Confused and
for sure.
You know, all those other movies.
I acknowledge that. I mean, without American Graffiti, we don't get Star Wars.
True.
Yeah,
True.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But you know, without all right.
I only have two more from this list I actually really give a fuck about to talk about. The first one is one I know Rico's a huge fan of, so I would love to hear his take on this. The Birdcage.
Oh yeah, that's definitely set there this summer.
Is it? Okay, there you go.
Because it's a summer wedding motif that they're aiming for.
Okay,
but that's the other thing is it's also set in Miami, and Miami is that kind of like if you see it in movies, you're like, is it summer or is it fucking winter? Because it's always kind of blue skies and mugginess and everything. But I think I remember it's a summer thing.
Well, this is
have you not seen The Birdcage? CJ?
I have, but it's been so long I don't remember. I have seen it though. The other one, this isn't.
I never saw it.
Oh,
it's one of Rico's favorites.
I should check it out.
It's a good movie. Good. I just don't remember the specifics about summer. The other one that I would bring up, Rico, just to go with your point about Birdcage, and this is not from the list; it's my own thoughts based on what you were saying. Chef, the Jon Favreau movie, is that a summer flick or is that spring break?
That's
because the kid goes with him, but I feel like it's his spring break, not his summer vacation.
It might be summer break because they're on the road for. I mean,
it's
spring
like a
break
week,
is like
isn't it?
What? Spring break is like 2 weeks.
Yeah, generally speaking, and I think that's
I'm pretty sure it might be summer. I think. Let me ask someone. Steph, the movie Chef. When they go and do the fucking road trip, is that considered a spring break or summer?
I don't know what time of year it was.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to tell because it's L.A. and they're traveling to like fucking New Orleans and shit, so it's hard to kind of like place where that could be.
Yeah, that's what made me think about it. That's what made me ask the question. You know, so
things that are based on adults because adults don't have a summer break.
I mean, Steph made a point. It's hard to gauge like summer movies because with adult characters because they don't have.
But that's why I picked this one because his son, who is not an adult, goes with him. That's why I mentioned this one.
I'm gonna say it's summer.
I'm kind of with you. I got to be honest with you. I'm kind of with you. I'm looking up the description of the story. It's not saying specifically what time of year it takes place. So
it's not like there's a thing in when they go to like Louisiana and New Orleans, like something that we could like set the time,
like Mardi Gras or something,
like Mardi Gras or something.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't remember. There's not a Mardi Gras scene. I know that.
No. But you're right. They're in. That's why I pulled it. That's why I mentioned that because you're right. They do go to New Orleans at one point. So, but you don't see if it's like Mardi Gras, so you can't place a time.
Mike, have you seen Chef?
I have not. No.
That's a really good movie with Jon Favreau. I really highly recommend that one. That's a fun movie. I think it's still on Netflix.
It was on Netflix, but do you like movies that are like all about cooking and like food porn type of shit?
Yeah, I know that it's kind of like that. It's like close-ups of like food being made and stuff like that. And yeah, I definitely wanted to check it out. It's just like another one of those movies that I haven't gotten around to see. You know,
the cast alone is pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you got Jon Favreau, John Leguizamo.
I love Jon Favreau, yeah.
John Leguizamo, Oliver Pratt, Dustin Hoffman, Scarlett Johansson, Robert Downey Jr., Sofia Vergara.
Bobby Cannavale.
Yep. Sorry, missed him. But yeah.
Dustin Hoffman, for Christ's sake.
That's what I said.
Oh.
I said him.
I know. I'm just remembering. I'm like, I forgot that he's in that fucking movie.
It's a heavy hitting cast here.
And the kid's great too. The kid is really
really good. By that same standard, and you probably have never seen this, Rico, but Mike, you might have. Real Steel is probably a summer movie.
Real Steel? Is it the Hugh Jackman one?
Yeah, the boxing robot.
Right.
The Rock'em Sock'em robot movie?
Yeah, it's actually not bad, though. It's pretty good.
Kind of like Pacific Rim. I'm more of a Pacific Rim kind of guy.
Never saw that. Can't say I've seen that one.
Man. I didn't see the second one, but the first one's actually really good. I enjoyed that.
I'll have to check that out.
I think it's Guillermo del Toro.
Yes.
Directed that.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with him, man.
I have this
one that just popped in my head. Little Miss Sunshine. I don't know if that takes place during the summer, but I want to say it does because I think she's like competing for
one of the beauty pageants.
Yeah, like a summer beauty pageant. I'm not sure, but talking about like star-studded cast, like Little Miss Sunshine is like one of the best. I mean, you got Paul Dano, Steve Carell, Greg Kinnear, Alan Arkin, Toni Collette, Bryan Cranston, and Abigail Breslin. Like that's like an all-star cast right there, man.
Yeah.
Did you say Greg Kinnear? Because I feel like he's underrated.
Greg Kinnear is underrated, yeah.
Greg Kinnear is 100% underrated.
Yeah.
Dude, Alan Arkin is so great in that movie. He's like in his 80s, and he just like started like becoming a heroin addict, and it's like his storyline is just fucking.
Is that why he sounds so relaxed? Like, oh, okay, this feels really good.
It's just the way they play his character out is just really funny, and Paul Dano, he's another great. I mean, he's like a fantastic actor. Paul Dano, I love that guy.
Question:
Yeah,
is Edward Scissorhands set during the summer, or is it actually set during Christmas? Because I know it's a Christmassy movie because he's doing the ice.
We talked about it during the Christmas battle, the debate that Logan Mike was here for. I say it's
the non-Christmas debate.
I was giving us a throwback, but
okay.
My question still stands because it's very blue sky summer looking movie.
Yep.
And I mean, but it could also just be Christmas in California.
True. The same thing with Little Miss Sunshine. I can't find a time frame on it, but the whole thing takes place in California, so it easily could be December or it could be August. Like it
sorry for having good weather, guys.
Yeah.
It just popped in my head. I wasn't sure if it was
no, you're fine, man.
Summer movie or anything like that. It just reminded me of like a summer movie.
No, again, totally. That
takes place in California. So.
I mean, I think what's got you starting is the lead production company on this movie is Big Beach Films. So there you go. Rico, last one from the list that I care about having a conversation with. I know you're not a fan of the actor, and I'm not even sure you've seen the movie all the way through, but I don't know how this qualifies. Lost in Translation. Now, the only reason why I think this might be on the list is because if you recall, I said the list was beach, summer, or vacation movie, so it might be qualifying as a vacation movie. But it's not really because
he's
there
on
for
vacation
work.
in it. He's there to work.
She's there with her husband on their honeymoon, and he ends up working during the honeymoon. So I don't. Maybe it's vacation for her, but it's kind of I think it's a stretch.
That was on the list on the IMDb?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, because Bill Murray's there to do work in, is it China?
Japan.
Tokyo,
yeah.
Yeah, and Scarlett Johansson's there with her husband, Giovanni Ribisi.
Yes.
And he's doing like a shoot or something. He's like a director or a photographer or something like that.
Photographer.
Yeah, so he's there to work and she's just there to follow him. So,
but it also doubles as their honeymoon. It's a working honeymoon for Giovanni's character. I remember that because that's one of the things she's kind of upset about throughout the movie, and why she almost cheats on him with Bill Murray's character. So
I have nothing to say because I haven't really gone through Lost in Translation. I tried. Okay. It was just very slow for me. I know it's one I need to sit and just watch.
No, I understand it though. It's a strange watch, and if you're not a Bill Murray fan, then it's hard to kind of get into. So I get that.
I wouldn't put that on the list, but
yeah.
All right,
Maybe
well,
I don't know.
that's all I've got, guys. Do you have any other movies you want to mention before we start wrapping this thing down for the night?
I got nothing.
I can't think of anything. Any like Kevin Smith movies that maybe take place during the summer? Is Jane Silent Bob?
You could argue that Clerks could be a summertime thing, because, I mean, it's warm enough for them to be able to play hockey on the roof and shit, but there's no definitive time of year for that movie.
Except,
Well, you could look into Mallrats.
Veronica's still technically going to school.
And so is Caitlin, so it's probably during the
yeah.
school year. Yeah. It could be the spring, like before the end of the semester, but they're still technically in school, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Jersey Girl, no, because she's in
Jane Silent
school.
Bob Strike Back, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Strike Back.
And subsequently Reboot. Both of them would around the same time of year, I think. Just many years apart. But
well, doesn't Reboot? Don't they kind of do like a Comic-Con-esque type of thing at the end? And Comic-Con does take place in the summertime, so
it's not Comic-Con, it's Chronic-Con, so it's a separate.
Yeah,
but that could be any time of year, really, especially in California, because that's where the thing takes place. Going back to Rico's point about the weather, you know,
right?
Strike Back, I feel like, is the closest to a potential summer movie, but there's no definition that it is.
Right. I mean, I can't. It's definitely not Jersey Girl. She's in school.
Yep.
Dogma.
Maybe. Could be.
He is playing skee ball in Jersey.
You can play ski. Well, yeah, that's true. The Jersey Shore does. Well, no, but there's always that one arcade that stays open year round, Mike. You know what I mean? Like
in Asbury Park.
Could be.
No, in all the shore towns, there's usually that one arcade that stays open like year round, one or two arcades, so you can play arcade games and skee ball pretty much whenever.
What about Red State?
No, I mean it could be, but I don't think you have enough evidence either way. You know?
Yeah, that's a hard one to tell.
No,
they're in school. They're in school.
That's right, they are. Yeah, so no.
I
just thought of another summer movie we didn't talk about. I just thought of one. Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that one either.
It's a school trip, Rico, but it's during the summer. It's a school-sponsored trip during the summer.
Yeah, I'll give you that. All right, there you go. I'm sure there's more than one Marvel and DC movie that's set in summer that we're not including, but it's hard to tell. You know what I mean?
I'm running through the list in my head. Iron Man doesn't have a defined time of year. Iron Man 2 doesn't have a defined time of year. Iron Man 3 definitely has a defined time, but it's not summer.
Mm-hmm.
First Cap doesn't. Second Cap doesn't. The third Cap doesn't. None of the Thors, and it really wouldn't matter anyway because it's not technically here. You know,
right?
Same with Guardians. Black Panther, I mean, but you know.
See, those are hard to determine.
Yeah, none of them really determine a time of year. None of them, except for Iron Man 3, determine any time of year specifically. I think there's no real this is the time of year it is, except for Iron Man 3, which is why it was in our debate.
Yeah, that's true.
And same thing with DC. The only one that definitively defines a time of year is Batman Returns.
Batman, the 89, that does kind of give off a wintry vibe to it. Maybe not a Christmassy vibe, but it definitely looks cold as shit.
No, you agree because you see people's breath and shit. I agree with you, but I'm saying if we're defining this is the time, the only one that really defines that is Batman Returns. Because none of the Chris Reeve Supermans, Man of Steel certainly doesn't. Aquaman maybe, but no. I think, Wonder Woman, same thing.
I was going to say Wonder Woman, yeah, but...
Wonder Woman, you could probably find out, okay, well, when were these troops in No Man's Land and yada yada. You could do homework and kind of figure that out. But,
yeah, I mean, you could do the same thing for First Cap, technically.
But that could be set in, those both could be set June 22, right in the middle of fucking summer, right at the beginning of summer, and it wouldn't be considered a fucking summer movie.
Agreed. The only way you could ever push, especially either one of those is a summer movie, and I'm still using that loosely, is if you actually saw like the storming the beach on Normandy, because that was like a definitive date of June, like whatever D-Day is. I think it's June 25th or whatever. But
right,
like that's so and to your point about the environment looking nice and still not being a summer movie, Pearl Harbor. That's the beginning of fucking December in Hawaii. So
right.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really have much in terms of any more summer movies at the top of my head.
Yeah,
Jaws 2, maybe.
Jaws 2.
Out of all the ones that we talked about, what do you think your favorite is out of all of them?
Oh shit.
Jaws for me.
Jaws.
Yeah.
Is Jaws in your top 3, top 5? You would say, Rico?
Oh, summer movies or movies?
Movies of all time.
It's definitely my top 10. I have a really hard time narrowing a top anything.
Yeah, he does.
But it's
You're more of a bottom guy.
Love it. Love it. Nicely done.
Only if there's some good Jaws involved. Gross.
What about you, CJ?
I'm kind of stuck between 4 of them, and I
Well, Rico, out of all the movies we talked about tonight, what would you rate as your number one? Like, which out of the ones that we talked about, if you had all these, DVDs or Blu-rays stacked up in front of your face, and you could only pick one to put in your player, which one would it be? Besides Jaws.
Jaws. Okay. Yeah. Well, I just saw Sandlot, so I'll skip that as well, just to kind of, maybe Stand By Me. Stand By Me. Definitely, like I said about the Goonies and everything, I think Stand By Me gets more of a summer vibe to it. So I'll go Stand By Me.
I have to ask, Mike, are you asking just what we would prefer or what we think the best one is? Because there's definitely could be 2 different titles there.
Yeah, I mean, whatever one you want to choose, however you want to answer the question is fine.
Well, no.
Yeah, which one do you think is like the ultimate pick out of all these movies that we talked about today?
See, I think the one that I would go to more than anything else, like using that are stacked in front of me or whatever, would probably be Summer School. That would be the one that I would go to, but it's certainly not the best film of that list. You know what I mean? Like, another go-to for me would probably be Dazed and Confused. Those are like the top 2 go-tos for me. You know what I mean? So... But American Pie,
even in the same thing, that would probably be your take on the best best movie in this on this list.
Right, but I'm saying look, I may not be a fan of the film, but as far as like great filmmaking, Jaws and Stand By Me and those movies are way better than Summer School or American Pie or Dazed and Confused. Do you know what I mean? So
I think for me, it's a really great summer movie has to have a little bit of like the things that make summer memorable. You have to have like hot dogs and burgers on a grill. You have to
beer.
Whether you like beer,
yeah.
Maybe swimming in a pool or an ocean, something outdoorsy, maybe some camping, maybe I mean, there's no real definitive movie that has all these qualities, but like that's why I think Jaws and like Stand By Me are those bordering because. I said...
No, go ahead, Rico. I didn't mean to interrupt you, please.
Like, Jaws has that blue sky, blue ocean, 4th of July feel to it. Like I said, I could smell the fucking hot dogs burning from watching that movie.
By Rico's standard, the standard you literally just set out, I would have to say definitively then it's American Pie 2. It has to be, for me. If that's...
Yeah, but they're not grilling hot dogs. They're grilling dildos.
No. They're making, when they have that giant fucking party, they're making burgers. I mean, they're drinking beer and playing pool and eating burgers. I mean, they're doing a whole fucking party. So
Summer House.
Yeah, it's
Summer
on the
House
lake.
Vibe going with it. Yeah,
on the lake. To use Rico's thing. So
and Stand By Me has that as well. They're going camping. They're going hiking. If they weren't doing this, the presumption is that they would have gone to sleepaway camp. If that was more or less a thing. I don't know sleepaway camps were a thing in 59.
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not doing that research.
I don't know. Maybe more so then than now, I would say. I don't think there's a lot of sleepaway camps going on now with like fucking, I don't think parents want to send their kids away for a whole
not
summer.
now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the world we live in now, Jesus.
Well, I don't even
Well,
think,
I mean, I was thinking on a COVID level, but I think I know of some people that were still like Camp Tawonga, that Jewish camp I talked about. I had a customer at work who sent his kids off to Camp Tawonga, and I asked him, I was like, I didn't know you were Jewish. He's like, I'm not. My wife is.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah. But I don't know if that was years ago when they were going. I don't know. I don't know anybody who goes to camp. Like, I'm not hanging out with 7-year-olds,
Well, you have nephews. Maybe they'll end up at that camp one day.
Maybe. I mean, I think they're still
young.
just young enough.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
they might a couple more years, and if COVID is no longer a fucking thing, then yeah, they might go to fucking Camp Tawonga.
Well, all right, guys. I think we. Oh, Mike, you didn't tell us yours. What's yours?
Yeah.
Oh, I would say Stand By Me, but not to steal Rico's answer. I just watched Summer School last night. I'd probably go back and watch One Crazy Summer. Like I said, It's like one of my favorite movies of all time, and you guys definitely got to check it out if you haven't already.
I got to throw in that honorable mention. Like if Jaws and Stand By Me are like those definitive ones, I got to go with Heavyweights. A whole movie all about summer camp, just for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just in the same way that Meatballs goes for you guys. Heavyweights is sort of my Meatballs. It's
right.
Heavyweight Meatballs. But it feels like a camp movie because it looks like a camp that I went to. Is how I'm looking.
Fair enough.
Friday the 13th does not look like a camp that I went to.
Gotcha.
There was the legend of the camp. Like there was like that horror movie legend. At my camp, there was a guy named Smiley who had his like throat slashed from like the bottom, and like so it looked like a deep smile on his neck, and he was like a ghost. And I was like, what a great way to entice campers.
CJ here with a few thank yous and let you know how you can get in touch with and follow the show and us. Listen to us on the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, or anywhere else you find your podcasts. Please don't forget to rate and comment. PodAskew is a member of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Visit their website, bigheadsmedia.com, and follow them on Twitter at BigHeadsMedia. If you want to agree with or yell at us, follow Rico, me, and the show on Twitter. The show is at PodAskew. Rico is at Rants Rico, and I'm at M_Blade. We want to thank logo designer and show friend Mike for his work on our wonderful logo. You can contact him for artwork via email at logomike80@gmail.com. That's logomike80@gmail.com. Thank you to Samuel Lemons for all original music on the show, especially our theme music. You can find Sam on Twitter at Samuel Lemons, all one word, and his music on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Samuel-Lemons. Finally, our biggest thank you is to you, everyone, for listening. Rico and I really appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you another episode soon.
Martin, it's all psychological. You yell Barracuda. Everybody says, huh? What? You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
PodAskew.